Hello, my friends. Everything sounds very crispy today. Everything sounds crispy today. I okay, it's so hot here. It's very hot here, and in the morning I have to close my window because I'm too loud. Good morning. I have to close my window because I'm so sweaty right now and uncomfortable. I'm really trying to not lose my shit. Hi, Neil. Fuck it. Fuck it all. Fuck everything. Fuck everything and everyone. My fan doesn't really work. I have to close my window because I'm too loud for my neighbors, which I understand. But it is bloody miserable. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? I hope you're good. I hope you had a good night. I hope you had a good night. Good morning, Jane. If you don't mind, can you recap current events a week ago Sunday? I got out of the loop visiting. Are you talking about? I hope I do too. Believe me. Visiting your sisters. That's so nice. That is so cool. The last week. If I can remember it, Jane, I would absolutely do it. I'll try. Do you mean on the larger scale news version, or do you mean anything with me, or what? She broke her kneecap. Oh my God, that sounds terrible. Oh, I'm so sorry. God, that sounds really painful and hard to negotiate. Oh, I'm really sorry. That's a bummer. That really is a bummer. Um, well, good morning, everyone. I hope you're great. Oh, large scale news? I'll try. I'll try. Yeah, I hope she's recovering quickly. Oh, Jane, tell your sister we really we really hope she gets better soon. That's poopy. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, I'm going to make your day worse because bitch kitten Pigsbreath is testifying, and of course, unfortunately, we have to pay attention to it. So, and look, I made a new paper doll of him struggling up the whatchamacallit. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Sorry to do this to you at the first thing in the morning. Let me see if this one has the best sound or if the other one does. Forgive me for just playing things off screen.
Their borders to be secure.
Okay, so that looks like that's fine. Butterfly in the sky. Wait, what? Taco fell? What happened? It's a bummer. She'll be fine. My sister-in-law got in a car accident and is still in the hospital. Jane, oh my gosh, I'm sending you so much love right now. That is such a hard time. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm really sorry, Jane. Oh. Well, of course you've been focused on your beautiful sisters and not all the ugly world. I don't blame you. I'm really sorry that happened. I can't imagine breaking a kneecap. And then also, I don't know, just the trauma of car accidents and the fact that it would put her in, keep her in the hospital is really. Oh, the taco fell. Okay, now I get it. Well, I just thought he'd make a great paper doll. Good morning, Vietnam. Yeah. Aw, Jane, we're thinking about you and your sisters. Let them know they got a lot of good thoughts coming their way. If it's helpful. If it's not, don't mention it. Oh, those are big things. Those are big things. My gosh. No, no, I hope everything goes well. Well, I'll try and catch you up. Uh, oh, yay. We love that. Well, we love them too. So there you go. Mutual admiration. Yes, I'll try. Okay. Well, basically, uh, I might have been a little distracted by the LA news. So, I'll probably try and focus on other things. Well, let's see. Gosh, trying to think. Trying to think what happened last week. I don't even remember what happened last week. Okay, give me a minute and I'll have to think about that. But bottom line is what I've been focused on obviously is what's happening here in Los Angeles, which is a little egocentric for me, so I apologize. Hi Carrie, hi Muskie, how you doing? What I've been focused on is a little too much of what's happening in LA, but tell Jane about your dinosaur suit. Dinosaur. Jane, I got shot in the back with a rubber bullet. Jane, they shot me. I have a nice big bruise on my back. Well, it's not big. It's just it is nuts. Let's see. I've gotten in the dino suit a couple times, gone down to downtown LA where where the detention center is, where pretty much the heart of the action starts, and then it kind of seems to spread a little bit into downtown from there at night. But yeah, so I've been part of that and trying to stop federal forces from being here in Los Angeles. Number two, because number one is to get ICE to stop doing raids in our communities. Taco Joe got hit. What happened? Oh, wait, I got what a damn baby. Lolo took it like a man. Oh, he got hit by one too. I mean, it's not hard. If you're down there, they're shooting at everybody. Really. So it's not hard to get shot. Oh, did he? I didn't watch him. Damn. I wanted. I see. I'm banned in his chat. I've been banned in his chat from the jump. He hates me. He absolutely hates me. Yes. Abolish ICE. So, uh, I'm banned from his chat. So I did peek in yesterday just to see what was happening downtown. And I did notice in his chat they're like, where's the dino lady? Where's the dino lady? Me, me, me. And I wanted to say, I'll be there. I just had a hole in my suit. Yeah, I was watching different streams. And oh really? And then yeah, so I can't tell them, "Hey Joe, I'll be there, baby. Don't you worry. I'll be there when you least expect it." No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I just want to, I have tried to tell Joe Felix how I feel about him as a chatter and a person that was banned from his chat since 2022. Okay? I have been trying to remind that dude that he is a human being and that he should care about other human beings and not follow people like Oreo Express, who is a Proud Boy simp, because I don't even think he's proud enough to be a boy, frankly. And Joe wants to be a Proud Boy real bad, or be loved by anyone. I don't really know. And so he follows this white supremacist all over the country. And they film migrants in the desert at night. That's how they lost their first channel, because a bunch of people, including me, reported them. Basically menacing people who were in the desert and scaring them into thinking that they might be law enforcement. And that's bullshit. So Joe's an evil fuck. Don't let his big old mouth fool you, or that smile or whatever the fuck he wants to push forward. He's a big old bigot. He's a big old white supremacist. And so guess what? I got real offended when I saw him standing with legitimate press in a press, he had like the little patch on his hat and he had the little patch on his vest that said press. Bullshit. You're not fucking press. You sit outside a liquor store in Bakersfield filming sex workers. That's not press. That's a fucking cockroach. That's a leech on your community. Yeah, they're there. He was there. He'll be there today too. Because his chatters pay for hotels and shit for him to stay in. I'm not fucking kidding you. This guy is a fucking grifter. Really, he makes people like that make me mad. Anyway, whatever. I'll go knock against some windmills. I am going out today. I'm waiting for my new suit. Well, my new suit has some. I'm spray painting it, so I got to finish that. I started it last night, and I'll be out there today. I don't know what time, but I will. And oh yeah, I made a comment about the Australian reporter. I want Trump to turn darker as he's roasting over the open fire. Oh, getting shot in LA, but it was deleted. Really? Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anyway, whatever. Glad your friend, you're fried or your friend recouped. How was meetup with Lee? Oh my God, how was the meetup with Lee? How was the meetup with Lee? Good morning, Karen. Good morning, butterflies. Good morning, Badger. I'll be careful. I have a feeling, yeah, I was going to, Muskie, you know what I forgot to tell him? I was going to go up to him and say, thanks for the super chat, Darlene. Crash. Maybe I'll remember that one today. Maybe I'll remember that one today. If you don't know, Joe Felix, the guy that I was haranguing on Sunday, he I was looking at your Lee comment and I went, Joe was, what the fuck? Where was he? Oh shit, I can't remember. Anyway, I was going to say something dumb, but then I got distracted, of course. Hi, Teresa. Looks like Trump is hunched over a walker. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what do we do with our new paper doll? What do we do with the new paper doll? Clump. I saved LA from burning to the ground. Hi, Max Flower. Let me tell you how angry I'm getting about the press and their picturing of Los Angeles. I'm so angry about that. I might be more, well, no, I'm not. But I'm pretty fucking angry about the way the press is playing right into this fucking boondoggle. And people's lives are at stake, journalists. These cops are shooting. Now, right now, they're shooting less than lethal. But if you believe that that's going to be the way it stays, you have another thing coming, and you're not helping. You are not helping us in Los Angeles because you're making it too fucking hyped. I'm so mad about it. I see federal forces closing in on us and no one is helping. No one is standing up and saying, no, not okay. Get out of our city. Stop terrorizing our neighbors. And it really fucking pisses me off. And it doesn't have to be a big summer. It doesn't have to be any of those things. But the press are going to be what makes it that. And I'm going to call it now. And I hope to God they suffer because of it. I really do. Because this is disgusting what they're doing to our city. And not only are we being, not only is the city being victimized. Oh my God. Not only is the city being victimized and set up to fail, but we have no relief from the fact that people are being kidnapped from their workplaces. None of them are decent, Badger. Oh, that's a good one, Karen. Teresa, I saw a meme yesterday with a picture of Trump, that one I have there, sitting on a toilet making this face and holding onto the arm of a handicap walker. Dreams. We have dreams. Crispy Gnome. Los Angeles is a city of criminals. Oh, okay. Well, that's news to us. That's news to us. Yeah, I guess you can only depend on independent media, but I'm going to be honest with you. There's some independent media out there who are making this a big, and I get it, I guess, but people's lives are in stake. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? What the fuck is wrong with you? And Trump doesn't. Yeah, does Trump even poop? Anyway, we got to get to this fucking pig's breath thing. I'm sorry. They started early because, whatever. So let's go ahead and unfortunately get into it. In his diaper. Oh, that's right. Oh, do you think Stephen Miller changes his diaper? I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm wondering how that works. Just wondering how that works. All right. This, unfortunately, is Pete Pigsbreath. And I'm really sorry. I really apologize. Yeah, really apologize. But here we are. Miller smells it. Oh my God. You guys are worse than me. Oh, yes. David Huerta, the president of the Service Workers Union, SEIU, confronting NG and called you a hero. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Wow, DIY driver. Thank you for that. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, Huerta was released yesterday. He looked like he was in good health. I don't know what the extent of his injuries were because I know he was treated for injuries when he was arrested. But it appeared yesterday when I saw the footage that he was in good form and certainly happy to be out. But yeah, this is a very dangerous moment, and that's why I said this on the space last night. I really do feel like we're facing a little bit of an inflection point right now. Thanks to Dave and Callie for giving me the word that I was missing in my head. But I feel like we're at an inflection point. And if I feel like it will really benefit all of us if Los Angeles really stands up to this particular show of force and stand up in terms of protest, right? Because I think I think that is something that can be a brick in the wall of turning the tide. You know what I mean? And if we can really, we have an opportunity, I feel like, to not let this go the way they want it to go, which is to turn Los Angeles into a city of, well, it's already a city with fear, with great fear in it, but with violence. Was there another plane crash? No. I also want to acknowledge that I woke up this morning and did see the headlines about the mass shooting in Austria at a school. I didn't get the details. 10 people apparently were killed, and I'm just heartbroken. Like I just feel like we are into a world where, I don't know, left is right, right is left, up is down. Like everything is wrong. You can fly to LA to SF for $2. Where can you do that? Where can you do that? Anyway, but I do think this is a complete inflection point about standing up to authoritarianism. It may not be, it's not going to be the final battle by any stretch. Hello, but boy, what a big opportunity I think we have now. I think Angelinos are showing up and showing out. They are doing a great job. I am so proud to be part of this city and see people stand up so much and really put themselves in danger. Never mind. I thought that was Austria. I never hear news about Austria. I forgot all about that country. Sorry, Austria. I understand. Yeah, there's not a lot of like major headlines necessarily that make their way over here about Austria. But that one certainly did. And I'm just heartbroken. I'm just like, heartbroken. Oh, not Clump. Sorry. Yeah, it can't be. It's not real. With $2 and eggs must be free. That's right. And you get a dozen eggs. Max Flower, I'd rather have the door-to-door white glove limousine service. Hi, Peter Mooney. Welcome to the fray. How are you? They're still on opening statements. Fantastic. That's great. You can fly twice as high. Yeah, I'd rather have the door-to-door white glove limousine service. I don't know. That's like 6 hours, man. I make that drive all the time. That's a fucker. That's a fucker of a drive. Peter, it's nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in. Welcome to Wake and Bake with Lolo. I'm Lolo. You know that. Yeah, so I got a new suit. I got a new dinosaur suit because if you missed it on Sunday, I got a hole in the suit. I don't know. It's kind of sus. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a little suspect why I got the hole in my suit. But nonetheless, I did get a hole in my suit, so I had to buy a new one. It came yesterday. I started like spray painting it. Hi, Paul J. 6 hours of eating free caviar. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Can we smoke weed in that car? Because if we can smoke weed in that limousine, girl, I'm all over it. What was I going to say? I can't remember. But anyway, oh yeah, Sunday. So I have to finish spray painting it after I get off the show, and then I'll head downtown and see what's what. But the dinosaur's coming back today. The dinosaur didn't go out yesterday because little bit of scheduling because I have my show in the morning, then I had a space to host at night. But that's not really here nor there. I really just didn't have a suit, and I kind of like to, I don't know, I kind of like the suit. A California 420. Yes, Peter. Hey, Peter, you're in the right place. That's fantastic. Great job. Hi, HP. How are you doing? I am going to try. Okay, man. I'm going to try. I don't want a rubber bullet. I don't want anything. I certainly don't want a hole in this suit right away. Although they are only $35. Okay. So I'm not going crazy. But I would like this suit to last a little longer. Usually they last about a year. That's what I'm noticing. The dinosaur, I've had 2 dinosaur suits so far. I feel like they last about a year, and then they get really, you just can't clean them. You can't do anything. Not that they get stinky, because, they don't, actually. But they just get dirty. I mean, my tail drags on the gutter juice all over my tail. I mean, like, they get pretty bad. So, because I'm marching in the street. So, like, you're going to get dirty. It's true. I'm not lying. I stepped in gum on Sunday. Boy, I was really mad about that. I'm like, darn it. Oh, but thanks, HP. Anyway, we better get to this motherfucking thing because these bitches are doing their thing. Let's see where we're at. I can't listen to boiled pork here, so I'm gonna. Oh my God.
The warriors. And their families.
In the record. Secretary Hegseth, we can start with you for your summary of your remarks. Secretary, you recognize.
Well, Chairman Calvert,
Pigsbreath.
Ranking Member McCollum,
Hey,
distinguished
how you
members
doing?
of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of President Trump's proposed fiscal year 2026 budget for the Department of Defense.
And I'm all out of bubble gum.
I'm honored to testify today alongside General Dan Kane, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Bryn McDonald, who was performing the duties of DOD's comptroller and chief.
Who actually knows what he's doing, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Does
anybody have a drink in here?
And serve our warriors and their families. Today, as they do every day, they are keeping America safe. They're defending the homeland.
They're making
They're standing
America
up and deterring communist
unsafe.
China.
No, not them.
And working hand in glove
Him,
with allies and
not
partners to achieve peace through strength. I'd actually like to start by thanking this committee and Congress for your bipartisan leadership to give our troops a big pay raise in 2025. This included an additional 10.5% raise for our junior enlisted service members, E1 to E4. Thank you also for supporting other initiatives that will improve quality of life for our warriors and their families. With a focus on
what
our
a
troops
motherfucking clown.
and their loved
let me see
ones,
which one it
I've
is.
directed additional actions
Oh,
that
no,
will
it's House
further improve their
Appropriations,
quality of
Peter.
life.
House Appropriations about the budget for 2026.
Include making historic
It's the
investments
FY
in
26
improving the living
budget.
conditions in barracks and base housing.
Total weak reading.
Reforming the
Hi, Oomph.
PCS process to reduce the cost and stress of moving, and improving the quality of care provided by the defense healthcare system. Now, the best part of my job is meeting and interacting with troops and their families. I hear their concerns. I know how it feels to face those challenges. I've been there recently. Each of these initiatives responds to feedback
Fox
that I've
News?
received from the force.
Give me a break.
And I'll keep listening and looking for ways to improve their
Teresa,
quality
now
of
that's
life.
thinking.
Under
Pick up
President
the
Trump's
gum.
leadership, this budget puts America first and gives our warriors what they need.
He hasn't submitted the budget? What is wrong with all these people?
$961.6 billion budget request, over $1 trillion for national security, will end 4 years of chronic underinvestment in our military. In the last 4 months, we've moved quickly to reverse course after 4 years of weakness and mismanagement. We found nearly $30 billion.
Weaknessness? 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 All right, just checking. That's what I thought I heard. Okay, continue, Pete Pigsbreath.
$1 billion in savings across the department, and we reinvested those savings. We've killed wasteful programs, targeted bureaucratic excess, and redirected funding from Biden-era priorities to President Trump's priorities. We are re-optimizing the civilian workforce and repositioning resources to better support our warfighters. We're working with the Department of Homeland Security to increase border security. We've reduced China's malign influence in our hemisphere. We've defended freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. However, we still have a lot of work ahead of us to
We supported freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. You know, remember? We told you all on Signal.
achieve peace through strength.
What a joke.
To carry out the president's mission,
What a
we have
fucking
three
joke. He
core
doesn't give a
priorities,
shit about
as was
anybody.
mentioned. Restore the warrior ethos, rebuild our military, and reestablish deterrence. First, we're restoring the warrior ethos. President Trump has charged me with focusing on warfighting, lethality, meritocracy, standards, and readiness.
You?
That's exactly what we're doing. We're focused on what's important, warfighting and
How about
warriors.
integrity and
We're
security?
sweeping away distractions and bloated bureaucracy. We've set standards that are high, equal, and unwavering. DEI
Do you meet
is
them?
dead. We replaced it with a colorblind, gender-neutral,
Oh,
merit-based
please.
approach.
Give me a break. Oh, where all
Force
white
is
guys end up on...
is responding, excuse me,
He looks a little
positively,
gray
incredibly
to
these
me, but
changes.
that could be
And
just
thanks
my
to President
screen.
Trump, recruiting and retention is higher than it's been in decades at historic numbers. This
Yeah,
budget provides
but
a historic
hello,
level of funding
because
for
we
military
shot
readiness,
them
putting
all.
our warfighters and their needs first.
Break.
Second, we're rebuilding our military.
Hi,
25 years ago, our
Tom
military
Payne.
was
Welcome to the
unchallenged, yet
show. They
we
do
squandered
have a
that
creepy
advantage
love
as
of
China carried out an
warrior
unprecedented
ethos.
military buildup.
Is he
President
hungover?
Trump is correcting those mistakes.
Undoubtedly.
We're reviving the defense industrial base, reforming our acquisitions process, rapidly fielding emerging technologies to put the best weapons in the hands of our warfighters. This includes investment of $25 billion in the
I
Golden
brought him
Dome
a box
for
of
America,
wine.
a down payment
This
on
is for
President
later,
Trump's priority to
Pete,
defend our
just in
homeland.
case you get a little
It also
thirsty.
commits more than $62 billion
There you
to
go.
modernize and
There's a
sustain
little wine
our
box
nuclear
for ya.
forces. The
Judge
budget allocates
Janine brought it
$3.5
over.
billion for the F-47, the world's first sixth-generation
Hi,
air
baby
superiority
Lian,
fighter.
my girl. How are you
This
doing?
budget will
Love you,
revitalize
girl.
our shipbuilding industrial base with $6 billion in funding in FY26,
Yeah, suck
$47
my big
billion
warrior
in
ethos.
shipbuilding total.
Pete.
The budget increases significantly funding for autonomous systems, long-range fires, drones, and hypersonics. We will put these capabilities in the hands of our warfighters. Third, we're reestablishing deterrence. When our opponent sees our well-equipped, tough-as-nails warriors, they will decide that today is not the day to test American resolve. Credible deterrence starts
This is
at
like
home, and it starts
idiocracy.
with
This is like a
securing our
fantasy.
borders. We
This
will
is a
achieve
fantasy.
100% operational control
Hi,
of the
gal.
southern border.
I'm
with
sorry.
crossings already dropped 99.9%. It also starts in our neighborhood in the Western Hemisphere. As you know, as we've said,
Gal says-
the Indo-Pacific is our priority theater.
This
and
is
China
the
our
most.
pacing threat.
This
That's
is
why I've
like the
traveled
worst
twice to the
one-night stand
Indo-Pacific
morning
region
after.
to meet with our allies and partners, and they have responded. As we shift in that direction, President Trump looks to those allies
Oh,
and
Jay
partners to
Rance,
step
good morning,
up,
darling. I missed
to
you.
share
Hi,
in the
love.
burden of their own defense. He also sees them, as I do, as force multipliers alongside the United States, and we are making progress in that.
Peter, that's a good one.
As the president has rightly pointed out,
Pretty sure
it's
AI
only fair that our
hallucinated
allies
this
and partners
testimony.
do their part. We can't want their security more than they do. So the Department of Defense is executing
His
a
blood
common
alcohol
sense
level, Tom.
agenda to achieve peace through strength. The threats we face are serious, and so must our investments be. So
Oh, shit.
What
Take
this
your,
budget does, it
National
matches
Guard back,
capabilities to threats. We must overcome decades of neglect and decline. We must fortify our position as the world's most
Yes, he
lethal
does,
fighting
Max.
force,
He wants to
and
change
we
it to
must
War
act
Department.
fast.
Because they got to
This
get all
committee
their little
is our
fucking
critical
fantasies
partner in
out.
everything we do.
And he's got big
And your
ones.
leadership and oversight is essential. So we look forward to accomplishing these goals, to achieving peace through strength, to supporting our warriors, protecting our citizens and taxpayers, together with you. May God grant us the wisdom to see
Prompt.
what is right.
Write a 5-minute speech that
and the
sounds like
courage
Pete
to do
Hegseth
it.
talking.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. General Kane, you're now recognized for your remarks.
Thank you,
Praise
Chair
and
Calvert, Ranking Member McCollum, other leaders, members of the committee. I'm honored here today to join Secretary Hegseth and Ms. Bryn McDonald to appear before you today.
Yeah,
to
there's a girl
testify on the
here.
President's fiscal
Okay,
year
so we're going to make sure we
2026
say
budget.
hi to the girl.
Today's hearing reflects our shared commitment to maximize efficiency, accountability, and lethality to our
Are you all
taxpayers'
drunk?
investments.
Are you all
ensuring
drunk?
that
Did you all
every
go out to the
expenditure
Hooters last night
increases
and
the
get it on?
survivability of our joint force,
Twisted Kilts or
providing our
whatever the fuck
warfighters
that
with
name
the
is of that
advanced
other
capabilities
hootery type place.
and capacity and cutting
Did you
edge
get your Twisted
technologies
Kilt on last
required
night,
to
General
dominate our
Raisin
adversaries.
Cane?
I have deep gratitude for everyone in this room and your
Why
commitment.
do they call you after a named,
and
like a
cooperation
dried
to
fruit?
help us deliver the
Why do they
capability
name
and
you after a
capacity
dried
for our
fruit?
2.8 million members of our joint force, the civilians that serve alongside us, and of course their families, all
won't,
required
Max.
to work together to deliver, as the
They
Secretary
got it
said,
on with
peace
you.
through
Yeah.
strength. It is my responsibility as chairman to understand the global set of conditions, advise the Secretary, and integrate our joint
sure,
forces
Haggard.
to confront and manage
Newton was
risks
taken.
worldwide. This demands a comprehensive understanding of all domains: space, cyber, air, sea, undersea, all military services, each
Well, I
region,
call him
and
Sugar Cane.
At times, our allies, partners, of course, as we consider carefully what they bring to
Hi,
the
Jim
table.
Nalgren. A
and
Golden
to
Dome will
inform the
never be built.
decisions
It's
that
impossible.
you'll
You
make
hear
to give us the finite
south
taxpayer
out of
dollars
you head south
required
out
to
of Detroit
ensure
and you're in
the
Canada.
greatest strategic impact
the
with that
world is
investment.
round.
The President's budget enables the joint force to defend our great nation against adversaries seeking to do us harm. We are relentless in our pursuit of innovation and technology
Yeah,
that
Neil,
allows us
never
to
mind.
deter our adversaries at every opportunity.
An
while
alleged
ensuring
murderer?
we're
Are you
positioned
kidding?
to win on
Holy
the
shit.
battlefields of the future when called upon. This
Holy
budget
shit.
empowers the joint force to get after Secretary Hegseth's 3 pillars, as he mentioned: restoring warrior ethos, rebuilding our military, and reestablishing deterrence. And ensures, from my perspective, the joint force is properly armed, globally integrated.
Deterrence? Like we haven't had deterrence? Have we had an invasion on this land that I'm not aware of? Is that okay, never mind. Sorry.
And ready. The President's budget invests in our warfighters. To win on the battlefields of future, as I said, our forces must be properly armed with the right capabilities: lethal, modern, reliable, survivable, and at scale.
Oh, Lee,
Victory
I'm so
requires
sorry.
people
Good
and
luck.
platforms that will overmatch the enemy
luck.
day after day.
Love you.
Systems that will be required to operate under the harshest of conditions, and technologies that will give our warfighters the decisive edge that they deserve. This budget gives us the necessary tools to reinvigorate our national and defense industrial base. Our nation is full of incredible talent, and we need to get every bit of it moving in the same direction. This budget also helps the Joint Force get globally integrated. I think we're relationship entrepreneurs within the Joint Force, which requires us to work together with the military, our allies and partners, industry, and of course the interagency to be connected before crisis begins. Finally, the President's budget reflects our mandate to stay ready, always on the account.
Good luck, Lady Nalgren. I hope you win your tournament.
And delivering for our force and their families. Our force and our families are the last and most important part of this budget. This budget makes meaningful investments in our service members.
Oh, hi,
and their
Corey
families,
Wilburn. Welcome to the
quality of
lounge.
life,
I remember
housing,
Reagan
medical
Star.
care,
Wait a minute.
and the move.
I remember Reagan's Star SDI was. This is not Star Wars. Where's the shitty promo video? War is peace, right? Yeah, it's like reverse thinking. Warrior ethos, my fucking ass. Hi, peace, love. Anyway, welcome, Corey.
Moving process. Along with our most precious asset, our people must be properly armed, integrated, and ready. I also want to highlight the service member over my right shoulder quickly, the senior enlisted advisor to the chairman who will retire after 37 years, Sergeant Major Troy Black. He didn't know I was going to say this today. So in conclusion, it's an honor every day to serve alongside some of the most extraordinary warriors.
I'll just leave the wine box over there
and families
so
that
Pete can
our
refill
nation has
when he
ever
needs
known.
some.
I assure this
Hi, Paw
committee
Patrol.
that
Oh my
the
gosh,
Joint
good to
Force
see you.
remains committed and capable and ready to defend our nation. With your continued support and prudent investment, we'll maintain that competitive edge at scale. I want to also remember today our deployed and their families who are out there on the front edge of our nation, making sure that we're safe here in this committee room today. And I would be remiss, as I always try to remember our fallen and their families who've made the ultimate sacrifice. I thank the Congress
welcome
for
to
your
everyone
support and
who's just coming in to
collaboration.
chat for
I
the
thank
first
this
time.
committee
We're
for
really
your efforts
glad
and
you're here.
leadership, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. I want to make sure that each member has a chance to ask questions, so everybody will have 5 minutes for the remarks and answers. Remember, when the little light comes on and it's yellow, you got 1 minute left. So I'll begin by recognizing myself for 5 minutes. Mr. Secretary, the department recently issued a memo reducing the civilian personnel at the Office of Director of Operational Test and Evaluation by about 74%.
Talking to your microphone, fucking Calvert.
Now, everyone on this subcommittee can attest that I've been beating the drum for reductions in DoD personnel, civilian.
Oh my gosh, Peter, thank you so
since I became
much.
a member of the committee.
You're so kind.
It's a long time. In fact, I have a bill that would require the department to reduce civilian staff by 15% based on merit. However, I think we need to be intentional and clear-eyed about the functions that we reduce. As you know, DOT&E was established by Congress in '83 to centralize and strengthen operational testing, ensure that weapon systems are rigorously evaluated for combat effectiveness, suitability, and to address
And almost guarantee, Paw Patrol, he is a
oversight
douche.
and standardization within the Department of Defense. And there's a
Chances
lot of
are.
examples of DTO&E catching flaws that would have catastrophic consequences for our military, including loss of life. One example is the M2, M3 Bradley, which was designed to transport troops, provides fire support. The Army approved a system touting the armor, firepower, and mobility. However, when the independent testing was done, it was found out the aluminum armor was not a good idea and was susceptible to failure.
Jim, is that true?
And
They put a
early versions
Starlink
caught
on
fire
top,
and
unsecured
burned.
unit on top of the White House?
Changes and rectified that, and the Bradley's been a valuable part of our military ever since. But we share the same goals to create a more efficient, leaner DoD. But with things like Golden Dome coming along, we want to make sure that the
Golden showers. I think of it all the time. I'm sorry. It's like all golden showers.
So I understand the reduction is seeking to remove duplicative functions. We're not interested in delays, and I know that that's pretty high on your list.
You know, this man is
However,
probably like a year younger than me, or
independent
maybe a
testing
year
is
older.
important. A light
Why
of
does
that,
he look like that?
with the reduction,
Why
how
does
will you
he look
ensure
like that?
The military services tasked with testing and evaluating their own programs will not
Did he say
revert to
aluminum
past behavior
armor?
which showed they would approve systems
What?
in order to meet operational needs or budget timelines. So with that, Mr. Secretary. let's see if we can have an answer to that.
Yes, Peter.
Appreciate the question.
Let's
And
yell at
how we evaluated
scumbags.
DOT&E,
Let's yell at
was a
scumbags.
reflection of the overall approach we've taken to
Thank
the
you.
department,
Thank you. Thank you
which
for
is
being here.
How
Really
efficiently do
appreciate
we
it.
operate? Where are the bottlenecks? We talk about the things you talk about every single day. How do we get how do we get systems, platforms,
Hands
future
and
capabilities
systems.
in the hands of warfighters as quickly as possible?
Pete,
And
you
so
are such a
review led
fucking
by
joke.
Myself, the Deputy Secretary of Defense.
You're our
friends at
biggest
DOJ
fucking
who've
joke.
worked with us, have helped us look and identify places where we might find efficiencies.
I love how they think
Now,
the
I
flag
work,
somehow
and
makes
my
them
hands are
more
directly
like
in the middle of
legitimate.
that to ensure
Right? The little fucking
that
pocket
as we
square.
seek those efficiencies and reduce those redundancies.
What the fuck is a
we're not
flag doing
so
as
in a
your
way that
pocket
undermines our
square?
Capabilities or safety for warfighters in the future. DOT&E, after we got rid of a lot of the really low-hanging fruit of tens of billions of contracts.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. He has big cuffs. Have you seen the cuffs on that guy?
That were completely wasteful.
Look at those motherfucking
PowerPoint
cuffs.
presentations that no one was looking at.
Is
You
that
start
the
to
right
look at
size
things
shirt
like
for you,
DOT&E testing and
Petey?
evaluation, which in a headline sounds quite significant, and it can be in many ways. But when you ask the services, you ask the joint staff,
Here we go.
you talk
Friends
to
of the lounge will recognize this.
across the other undersecretaries.
Wait, where is he?
There's
Oh,
a
damn.
Universal recognition.
What
that
about
DOT&E's
me?
mission has blown
What
and
about
expanded well beyond
me?
the scope
What
of it
about
was supposed to
me?
be. And as a result,
What about me?
expanding by months,
I'll just
and
stay
sometimes
over
even
here in
more
the
than that,
corner.
the amount of time it was taking for our systems to actually make it in the hands of warfighters. So you still
Why
have
do I
services
have
and
to
other
be the
places
head of the
doing that testing and
PTA at
evaluation.
West Point?
This
Why
remains
can't
in
I
place
be
and the
part
right
of the
size. This is the
fighting
right size
warrior
for DOT. So it still provides
ethos?
that oversight and ensures across the joint force we're recognizing the challenges,
You could-
but it doesn't add
We
unnecessary
could have a
time.
fucking
So
picnic on
we
his
recognize why it was
cuff.
created. We want it to do its job, but not more than its job, and that's what we believe it's doing by reforming it.
Well, thank you for that answer. Obviously, as we expect new systems, new technologies to come online quickly, we want to make sure this committee that we're
Yeah,
funding
I got your
properly.
fraud, waste, and abuse right here, thanks to Gal Suburban. That's right. She created this one for us. There's your
Especially
fraud,
with,
waste, and abuse right there.
technology
1, 2, 3, baby.
Golden Dome,
Cut that shit out.
You know, we still, as the ranking member pointed out, we still haven't seen a clear definition of what it is and what it's a strategic theater system, lower 48, Hawaii, Alaska, the rest of it, and how these layered systems are going to be put out there to defend the country and to make sure that we're not spending a lot of money unnecessarily. So testing and evaluation is going to be an important part of that. With that, I recognize Ms. McCullum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, I plan to ask you some budget questions about the following: the cost of the Qatar plane, where the money from the Army's parade is coming from, or the National Guard deployments to the border, where that funding is coming from. I honor and celebrate the United States Army, but I'd like to know how much this parade is going to cost. I have sent the department letters on several occasions on this, and I'm still waiting for a response. But then something else happened this weekend, and it needs to be addressed. And that is the President's premature and escalatory decision to deploy not only the National Guard troops to Los Angeles, but active duty Marines as well. Mr. Secretary, we're both from Minnesota. I was in the Twin Cities during the riots that followed the murder of George Floyd. Tens of thousands of protesters took to the streets for days. Governor Walz made the decision
Girl, we're still
to
out
call
there.
the Minnesota National Guard. At no point did we need the citizens of Minnesota request.
How many
the
fingers am I
Marines
holding up?
deployed. Our state and local law enforcement, along with our National Guard, who have worked on crowd control, they were more than enough. They were more than capable of handling this situation.
Oh, maybe that was Jay Rance's
History has
meme. I can't
proven that law
remember. You
enforcement
guys all
and the
do
National Guard
really good
are
stuff.
more than capable of handling situations more volatile than what happened this weekend. We all see the continuous loops on TV, but this looks nothing like the George Floyd protests or the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles in 1992. Mr. Secretary, this is a deeply unfair position to put our Marines in. Their service should be honored. It should not be exploited. The President has issued an executive order and talked about deploying troops across the country. Los Angeles County has 17,000 law enforcement personnel, and the state of California has 24,000 National Guard troops. So that's why the Los Angeles Chief Police to say, and I quote, "The possible arrival of federal military forces in Los Angeles is absent a clear coordination, presents a significant logistical operational challenge for those of us who are charged with safeguarding the city," the end of his quote. As I mentioned before, in Minnesota, we train for those things together. So there's no need for the Marines to be deployed. So here are my budget questions, though. What is the current cost for what is taking place in California, and how is it going to affect this budget or the budget we're currently serving under? How much are these deployments going to cost for both the Marines and the National Guard? And what training or duties are not taking place because of these deployments? Where in your limited budget, sir, are you going to find, in the remainder of this fiscal year, are you going to pull the money to cover these deployments? What holes are being created?
Well, Congresswoman, thank you for the question. You are right. We are both originally from Minnesota, which is why I recall 2020 quite well.
Oh, fuck
when
yourself.
Governor Walz abandoned a police precinct.
Go
and allowed
fuck
it to be burned to the
yourself.
ground, and also allowed 5 days
sir,
of chaos
sir,
to
you're-
occur inside the streets of Minneapolis.
Reclaiming my time.
The police precinct, ma'am, was
Stop.
abandoned.
Don't
and
let him
burned to the
fucking
ground.
do this.
And because of that, the National Guard was eventually far too late mobilized. And
I
President
want
Trump
to punch him in the
recognizes a
throat.
situation like that,
Can I punch him in the
improperly
throat?
handled by a governor, like it was
is that
by
a-
Governor Walz,
is that against the
if
law?
It gets out of control, is a bad situation for the
Is
citizens
that
of any
is that
location.
against the law?
So in Los Angeles,
Yeah,
we
whatever.
believe
But where's
that
your
ICE,
budget, sir?
which is a federal law enforcement agency, has the right to safely conduct operations in any state
I
and
have
any
a I have
jurisdiction
a
in the country.
contusion on my back
Especially
from where
after
one of your
21 million
dipshits
illegals
shot me.
have crossed our border under the previous administration. ICE ought to be able to do its job, whether it's Minneapolis or
Chairman,
Los
I have
Angeles.
limited
Fuck
time. I asked the
you.
budget
And they are
question.
Fuck
being-
you,
The
fuck you.
Secretary,
These
please
little
address the
Gestapo
budget.
men and whatever
You asked
ladies, I
about
don't
the
know
situation in
who
Los
they are
Angeles, and we
because they're
believe
all
Asked about
masked.
the
ICE
budget.
agents should be
I
allowed to
asked
be
about the
safe in
budget,
doing
sir.
their operations, and we have deployed National Guard and the Marines to protect them in the execution of their duties.
What?
Because we ought to be able to enforce immigration law in this country, unlike what Governor Walz did in 2020.
Whoa, what the
There are
fuck?
17,000 LAPD.
Yeah,
You
it was
mentioned
proven that
There would be
right-wing
8,000
pieces of
18,000
shit did
if
all
not
that
for the
shit.
defund movement that folks
Oh
like
my
Gavin
God,
Newsom
why
and
is she
Karen
letting
Bass
this
have
happen?
implemented.
If
The police chief
if
said
Mr.
she was
Chairman, if the
Stop
President
him.
is not
So we
gonna
helped.
ask
You're the
budgetary
fucking
questions,
congresswoman.
I will yield back my time if the Secretary refuses to answer the budgetary questions I put before him. They're important. What
Oh, my God.
missions aren't happening? Where are you pulling the money from? And how are you planning this in the moving forward? These are budget questions that affect this committee and the decisions we're going to be making in a couple of hours. If you're not going to answer them, please let the chairman know, and I will take back my time and I will yield it back to the
Mr.
chairman.
Secretary, I want to just let us know what accounts you're pulling the money
Well,
to fund.
thankfully, unlike the previous administration, we've got a 13% increase in our defense budget, and we will have the capability to cover down on contingencies,
Mr.
which is
Chairman,
something the National Guard
I
and the Marine
back
plan
my
for.
time.
So we have the funding to cover down on contingencies, especially
Where is
ones
it? Where is
as
it coming
important
from?
as
What
maintaining law and order
what
in a
cost
major
center?
American city.
What
As far
cost
as
center is it
training,
coming
all of
from?
the units on the ground have been fully trained in their capabilities of what they're executing on
No,
the
they
ground.
haven't.
If he needs to get back to the committee with the numbers, I'd appreciate it, both current and present.
Happy to submit them for the record.
Fuck you, Pete.
We'll
You fucking
receive
drunk
the
ass
answer to the
bitch.
question, for the record. Gentleman from
I'm trying.
Oklahoma,
They
Mr.
have a
Thank you very
horrible
much, Mr.
sound.
Chairman. Mr. Secretary, again, welcome. As I mentioned in my opening comments, I'm very concerned about retiring legacy systems. They need to be retired, no problem there, but doing it too fast and not having replacements coming online. I've got a particular concern where E3s, as my colleagues know, AWACS, there's 31 of them in the fleet, or there were. 15 have been retired since 23. They fly out of Tinker Air Force Base for the most part, which is in my district, hence my parochial, but I think legitimate interest here. Very interested in seeing, and this committee's done some important work in positioning us to acquire and field E7s. It's not a new technology. Our friends in Australia use it. Our friends in the United Kingdom use it. It's much superior to what we have. And so
Will be space-based and not in a science.
One of the areas where we're concerned where we don't
This
have
one
the
might
budget
be a
information
better
all we
audio.
would like. I'm curious about what your thoughts are on the platform and replacing them. Do you have any idea about the
I don't know, though.
speed and cost that you're planning to move in that particular area going forward?
Well, I appreciate the question, Mr. Chairman. And priorities and decisions are what we're in the business of on the budget side, on the capabilities side. And I think President Trump has charged
Wait,
us
I'm sorry, I
with
gotta take a
making
picture of that.
big, difficult decisions.
That's
After a lot
too
of
great a
deferred
face.
maintenance,
Okay,
deferred
sorry, I
decisions,
digress.
to ignore parochial priorities in large part and focus on what the department needs and where it needs it and when it needs it. And that,
I'll
that
go to the
means
next
some tough calls. And there are
thing
platforms
at a
we've
break.
supported as a result. And there's some platforms and systems that we won't support going forward because the services have requested it, or we've identified those are systems and platforms that don't orient toward a future threat. I mean, we've learned a lot from what's happened in Ukraine. We've learned a lot from what China is attempting to do and the systems they're building.
What?
So if we have systems and platforms that are not survivable in the modern battlefield, or they don't give us an advantage in a future fight, we have to make the tough decisions right now. That's my job. That's the chairman's job.
Yeah, he
and it's our
talks like
job
a
to
shitty
fund
Fox
those new
News
systems
anchor.
and make tough calls. So the E7 is an example of
Oh, wait.
that. We're going to fund existing platforms that are there more robustly and make sure they're modernized. But we believe most
think the
of
Adderall's
ISR or
kicking in for
great
him
deal
now.
of the ISR in the future will be space-based, and not in a
Space-based.
scientific space-based. We hope we'll get there, but in a we're funding capabilities that will surpass
True, Jay.
some of those airborne capabilities. So we're willing to continue to review things like the E7, but from our view, investments in existing systems that carry forward that capability alongside even bigger investments in space-based ISR gives us the kind of advantages we need on a future battlefield. I think
that's a fair point. I would point out, I've been on this committee a long time. I watched the U.S. Army waste $29 billion on the future combat system because it was going to be so great. And it didn't, and we wasted a ton of money. We got a platform here that works.
I know,
Space is
peace, love.
great.
I'm sorry. It's true.
Unknown, it's undeveloped.
Hi, Anita. How are
And I
you?
would just
Welcome in, darling.
urge you to look at this pretty carefully as you make the decision. We certainly will as a committee. I don't know how much time I've got left because the clock's not running.
You're the chairman, so.
Okay, well, we don't have time for your bullshit, so we're going to go to the different one, and I'll
existing systems that carry forward that capability alongside even bigger investments.
Yes or no question, Mr. Secretary.
Oh, here we
Do
go.
you agree?
Love
our
you.
military shipbuilding
The Lolo is
and
the
NASA
best.
Specifically, submarines, critical investment for national security and for the economy of my home state of Connecticut. This is a yes or no question, Mr. Secretary. Do you agree that continued investment in the Department of Defense in submarine production is in fact critical to the United States national security and military readiness?
Very critical.
Okay, so yes, thank you, and we agree. There'll be continue
Whatever
to be a
you just
critical
said.
asset to deter adversaries, sustain the advantage we have in undersea domain, and the Defense Department should continue
Where
to
does he-
support these
when does he
programs.
get to
What
throw
is the
his
status of the department's investments in submarine programs?
a good one.
14% increase in FY26 on the Columbia and a substantial increase in the Virginia as well. So we're ensuring
All
a
right,
defense
peace, love.
submarine
Hang in there,
industrial
babe.
base that has been left behind, that has been neglected, is fully invested
we
to make
have
sure
funded
we're
the
speeding
submarine
up on
base
funding
here.
the submarines.
We more than half, and you can go back to last December, but I want to move on. Do you know where our submarine production currently stands, and whether current production is sufficient to bridge the gap between current fleet size and projected need?
There is a
No,
gap,
I know,
but we
Gal.
believe we are closing it, ma'am. Yes.
And if you can get to us the information about how, in fact, that you can close that gap, because we do not have any information or data
God, I hope not, Tom.
That can substantiate
not.
what you're saying.
I mean, it's not funny, but I just hope
Your department's
not.
initial budget proposal includes incremental funding for the Columbia-class submarine. Is that going to raise alarm bells across the defense industrial base by signaling a lack of commitment to the program?
No, we could not, ma'am, we could not be more committed to Columbia. The centrality in the triad, ensuring it
Yes,
delivers
Tom.
on time.
What about those
it's
Qatari
central
jets coming into
to the
LA
deterrent
yesterday?
base Of the United States.
A certain
Do you know how
someone
much
sent me
of
a picture of that.
financial
Yep.
hole
Thank
this
you,
will
Tom
create for
Payne.
Defense Industrial Base? Will there be a financial hole for the Defense Industrial Base in 2026?
Certainly not based on our projections. There's not a hole. We're investing in Columbia robustly.
Okay, without numbers, it's my understanding the department is planning to move $3.1
Robustly.
billion for the Columbia class from 2026 and spread it over 2027 and 2028. This creates
Yep,
a
Lee's
serious
got it.
problem
She knows
for
how this
industry in the
works.
short term and hampers shipbuilders' ability to reach an adequate
Yeah,
production
ask him about
rate.
renaming the
Have
Harvey
you been
Milk.
in
Well, we
contact
know
with
why,
Electric
Jim
Boat or
Nelgren.
with Huntington Ingalls about your
Because
plans?
they're all fucking homophobes.
Almost every day, our Deputy
bitches.
Secretary of Defense,
Bitching bigots.
alongside our Secretary of the Navy, are
Because they're
actively
mediocre
engaged
white
with
men.
all of our shipbuilders
why.
and shipyards to make sure
Not
their
hard to
needs
figure
not only are
out.
being met, but their shortfalls are being addressed so that we can close that gap in real time, which has existed
So
for
that
quite
you
some time.
can really lay out for us the information, which we would like to get, what this committee needs to take a look at, because I know you believe that submarines are important, as I do, but getting the specific information about where we stand, what the production rate is, what gaps there may be. We're willing to listen to all of that because, in fact, in contrast to what your earlier statement was, we have, in fact, supported mightily the submarine industrial from this committee. That has not been to ramp up submarine production to the necessary elections. I would just tell you, as part of the December continuing resolution, Congress included $5.7 billion for the department to put on contract for two additional Block 5 Virginia-class submarines. The
Apologies.
Navy
I was just
advised
looking at
members
what
that
else
these
is
funds
live
were
right
required
now,
to be
so
placed on
sorry.
contract by February of 2025. Yet the department did not put funding for the two additional Block 4 boats on contract until April 30th. So do we have a plan? Do you have a plan for making the necessary investments to ramp up submarine production to the necessary levels? And what is that plan?
Ma'am, first of all, I want to thank this committee for the flexibility alongside FY25 and the continued resolution.
Well, I would hope
which
you
is
would
less-
thank this committee for the
a lot of
funding
flexibility
that it
provided
had
on the
made.
submarine
We
industrial
have made a
base, and we have-
serious
that.
investment. So your first statement is inaccurate. We have focused squarely on submarines, and we now want to know where that is going and what your plan is for the continued advancements to meet production levels and make sure that that is an area that's covered for our national security.
Ma'am, I fully acknowledge the investment this committee has made in shipbuilding, and the challenge is our department under the previous administration squandered a lot of that by
Please,
not
I don't.
investing
I want your plan. I've
Our-
had difficulties with the prior administration, and I don't mind calling them out. What is your plan for the future? Can we get that in writing and on paper so that we know where you're going? Because we don't have anything today. We have zip, nada, and knowing where you're going. You could talk percentages. You can talk about whatever you want, but unless this committee sees dollars and cents and where you're going and what your plan is, then we may reconsider what you need to do to go forward. Give us the details.
Congresswoman, we have the details and we will provide
Well, then
them
let's
for you.
have them
Certified
before
badass.
My hope is that we could get to it before we go to a markup within a few hours here today.
Holy
I yield
fuckwad.
back my time, Mr. Chair.
Gentlelady yields back
Ooh.
her time. The
I
Dean of
love
the
her.
House,
I love
Chairman
her so
Rogers.
much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, gentlemen and lady. Let me
Finish
tell
him.
you about the stunning success
There you go, Jane.
of the Ukrainian drones of last week. Are we seeing the ushering in of a new era of warfare? The use of drones from afar After all, these drones were smuggled into Russia, hidden for a great span of time, and then activated from 2,500 miles away. Are we prepared, both defensively and offensively? Ms. Secretary?
I'll answer that and then maybe hand it to the chairman. I would say, sir, it was a daring and very effective operation that we were not aware of in advance and reflects significant advancements in drone warfare, which we are tracking in real time inside Ukraine and taking that feedback to help us better understand how we can better produce more lethal, attritable drones, but also advance our counter-UAS systems so that we're not vulnerable to a threat and an attack like that. The chairman and I got together right after seeing that and saying, what more can we do to ensure we're prepared and our country's defensible against something like that? But I'll hand to the chairman.
Mr. Secretary, Congressman, thank you for the question. I think it goes to your more strategic question about is the way and nature that we're fighting our wars changing, sir.
Wait a minute. Neil says, wait until he hears about rifles and catapults. And what is this thing called the internet? Holy shit.
The answer is
Yeah, I wonder why
yes.
you weren't aware.
Mass numbers
Fucking
of
leaky
rounds
sieve.
moving back and forth.
Could you put it
with
on a fucking
precision
signal
and
chat and send it
autonomy,
with Witkoff over to
are all
Moscow?
things that are advancing in the technology trend exponentially. One of the things that I've talked with some of the leaders of this community and committee about are buying capabilities along the technology curve or ahead
Aren't you
of it.
embarrassed,
So I do think it was
General
a
Kane?
bold
Aren't you
move, and
fucking
it
embarrassed
represents
to
a
be
new
part of this
and different
bullshit?
way of fighting wars as we've seen over the past few years in that particular fight, sir.
What do we need to do to protect ourselves from a similar type raid by an adversary?
Well, sir, intelligence is critical. Human intelligence, signals intelligence, every aspect of how we get ahead, get to the left of a problem like that. And certainly our department in conjunction, interagency, are focused on that. But then it's rapidly fielding the commercially available technologies in some cases, but others proprietary, whether they're EW, whether they're microwave, whether they're kinetic, to defeat drones either individually or in swarms in multiple locations against protecting our people,
Peter
protecting
Thiel
our
is going to
installations,
listen in
protecting
on
our
this.
critical infrastructure, protecting our bombers. And some of that speaks to Golden Dome and what we'll do there, but you also have the particulars of the immediate. Our forward deployed troops, are they properly covered by counter-UAS systems? Do we have the best systems forward deployed? And that's something we're looking at every single day. We live in a dynamic operating environment, and the chairman knows this, the deputy, our policy shop, we are focused on ensuring that this is front and center, considering how central this threat will be going forward.
Well, these are low-cost, high-tech weapons, if you will, and has been dominated by China. 90% of drones are produced by China, I'm told.
Are you told that?
Tell us about
Is that true?
what we need to do here at home.
Or is it something about the components of drones?
Sir, it's not just, first of all, making sure we're less reliant on Chinese technology in any part of the supply chain, which is something we can speak to because that's been an aggressive part of our effort at DOD. But also recognizing it's not just China. Of course, Iran invests substantially in drone capabilities. And then learning a lot from partners on our side, like the Ukrainians who have developed systems and fielding that quickly. So commercially available, attritable, that we can produce at
you
home
got something
is
on your,
important to us.
you got a little something on your,
Congratulations to all three of you.
Something,
and we
something,
wish
something.
you well.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you have balls on your head too.
Thank the gentleman for.
Oh, wait, now I gotta
Real
take the
quickly,
balls
is it-
off. Hold
is
on.
it the press story is accurate that 40% of the long-range bombers from Russia
Are
were
broken?
destroyed in that attack. Is that an accurate number?
So I'm not exactly sure what the percentage is, but I also know that I may not say
Really?
that in
Why the
open
fuck do you
session.
not know?
So I'll take that and get back to you through appropriate channels.
Thank you,
Ooh,
gentlemen.
thanks, Calvert, you
Ms.
idiot.
Capter.
Thank you,
recognized.
Mr. Chairman. We welcome our guests. I come from a family of combat veterans going back a long time. And my comment is the use of certain words and what they imply. When I hear warrior ethos, and I hear it a lot from you, Mr. Secretary, I'm concerned. All the soldiers in our family, all of whom fought and received medals for their combat service, call themselves soldiers. Marines are trained to kill.
I'm not sure.
In terms of
Badger.
domestic policing, our police and our National Guard at the state level, carefully used, but also our state police are used in civil enforcement, and they are good. I don't need any reply. I just am concerned about what those words you often utter actually do in people's minds and change the language we have used since the founding of this republic. So that is a concern of mine. I wanted to go to the general and chairman, if I could. We've heard a lot this morning about defense industrial
I'm going to
base.
bypass you, you fucking
And,
moron.
this is something I ran for office on a long time ago. We have not made significant progress as a country in this regard. And the places that made things, whether they were machine tools, whether it was composite materials, were left behind. It's one of the reasons for the division in our society. So I am very interested in knowing what specifically and in which accounts, and I hope you can get this back to us within a week and a half, you are going to focus on in order to inject additional resources in the defense industrial base of this country. What will that look like? We are just successful now in helping steel to revive and some of our composite metals. 40 years ago, I wrote a title to the defense bill dealing with strategic metals. Nobody at Department of Defense cared, okay? So I'm interested in which accounts, if you could kindly get back to me on that, and when you say defense industrial base, budget-wise, in which accounts, what does that mean? All right, I don't expect you to answer it now. Can you tell me when you might get that information back to us?
Well, ma'am,
As
you
we
just said
appropriate.
a week and a half, so I know the awesome humans behind me are scribbling madly to come back to that. Can I just make a quick comment? You know, I happen to be a lucky guy that served in the private sector for a while, and I ran a machine shop in Texas along with a metal finishing business. So when we talk about defense industrial base, I broaden that out to really the national industrial base. There are certain components that are made in the defense side, but as you articulate, ma'am, many others are made in the small machine shops out around this entire nation. When I talk about mobilizing our nation, I think of that national, not just defense industrial base. What do we have to do to create greater capacity all the way down the chain to include jobs at the local level for those people that build quality parts and deliver on time with shorter lead time and lower cost? And so I have great empathy for what you're talking about, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we can.
Yes, and General and Secretary, going back to the drone attack in Ukraine, a country that was invaded by the Russian dictatorship, starting in 2014. They've been at war for a decade, more than a decade. What they've done with drones is astounding. It's going to change warfare. One of my questions is, what are you doing to establish relations with Ukraine and not turn your back on them as an administration and help them win, help liberty win? This has implications way beyond the boundaries of Ukraine. Russia's got 11 time zones.
No
I
problem.
mean, this is the most important test of liberty for our NATO alliance in my lifetime, and we better help win. And that involves moving forward faster on drone technology. I'm very worried about our air bases where we have secure assets. Mr. Secretary, can we defend them today if they were to have a similar attack?
We're certainly very focused on that, ma'am. And we're learning every day from Ukraine. I think we would need to clarify what win means. This president is committed to peace. He's committed to stopping the killing.
Give me
And
a
he
fucking
was not in
break.
office when it started in
You
2014. There were no
fucking
additional
douchebag.
incursions in his first term, and then under the previous administration,
Thanks for coming, Corey.
Vladimir Putin sought to take Ukraine. We're committed. This administration's committed to peace, to stopping the killing, and we think that serves.
Did you just
American
leave
interest.
Ukraine?
I don't know who that
Mr.
is, Badger.
Secretary? Did you just leave Ukraine?
Young lady's time has expired, but if you can get
I did
back
not leave
to
Ukraine.
us on that.
No,
Have you visited Ukraine?
No, ma'am.
My first trip
No.
there, sir, was 1973. I yield back.
Time has expired. Mr. Carter, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
She gets that. What?
We're very proud of you.
Pull your fucking
I'm fully
microphone.
supportive of the Army's outgoing modernization efforts.
Oh my
and the
God.
recent Army Transformation Initiative that combined the Army's Future Command with TRADOC to become the transformational.
How do these
and
people
training
win
command.
elections?
How are you both going to create a partnership between the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology and this new command to ensure the acquisition authorities are modernized and synchronized to achieve the maximum lethality and deterrence?
What?
Take that. Maybe I'll hand it to you, Mr. Chairman, as well. We are very encouraged and supportive of the Army's transformation initiative. General George has been critical to that, as has the Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll. And together, it's been a heck of a partnership and a willingness to get at the core issues facing today's Army and ensuring it is reformed and modernized to meet the threats of the future. One of those aspects is merging those commands. And I can tell you, whether it's the warrior ethos
What happened to your head?
or lethality, that is central to
Did you
why
have
we
too many
make
White
decisions.
Claws last night?
Ensuring that we're not
Pete?
making decisions on behalf of bureaucrats or process,
Yeah, we're a
but to
dotardocracy.
ensure we're getting
Dotardocracy.
the most lethal
love that
aspects
word.
of what we do front and forward as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And that involves things like Futures Command.
Okay,
and
you should
TRADOC.
really
And
like
when
see
you
a
merge
doctor about
those-
what's
those
happening to your
things,
head right now.
You have to make sure you're getting rid of things that are redundant and
Yeah.
pushing forward things that matter the most.
Sure, yeah,
I'll defer to
that's
the
right.
chairman.
Yeah, you say something now.
I've shared that commitment completely, and I share this transformation. What do you see as the fundamental capabilities of this command developed to ensure that we have the
what do you
lethality
see?
and deterrence necessary to succeed in Indo-PACOM? That's where the
Sure.
future is.
Sir, I'll first echo the Secretary's respect and appreciation for Secretary Driscoll and General George. They are a team, and that's always great to see from a warfighter's perspective when you have such a nested combat pair, if you will, that are driving at the same set
Whoa,
of
Doug
objectives.
Burgum just came
I
in.
think there's
Jesus
clarity,
Christ. Doug,
Congressman,
get out of
in
here.
the minds of both the Secretary and the Chief on the need for things like long-range fires in the Pacific.
I'll say.
And in order to pay for those, they're making those difficult decisions.
I
down
love
the Army
dotards. I am one
Transformation
myself.
Initiative in order to pay for 'em.
Abso-frickin-lutely.
Well, when we started talking about the Futures Command, one of the things that I was hoping we would do is we would not get a project stacked up on somebody's desk and stacked that high, and when he got down to checking on that, oh, that goes to you, and it goes on top of another, on the bottom of another stack that high.
Is that how
So we
you
get
operate,
delayed
sir?
and delayed and delayed and delayed
Is that?
in certain areas of bureaucracy. I think that is dangerous for our country.
Oh my
as we
God.
look forward
I think
to
you're
the
dangerous
future.
for our country. How about
And
that?
that's why I asked the question. Another issue that's very important, the department has historically relied on outdated production techniques.
I mean, we can't even talk about DEI anymore.
Energetic
Yeah, I can't listen to him. I'm sorry. I know he's probably saying something really important, but I just had to mute him. Yeah, exactly. All hat and no cattle. Jesus. Yeah, holy geriatric cowboys. I mean, I'm old, okay, so I can't really throw a lot of stones, but Jiminy Crickets, where'd they dig him up out of? Come on now. Patient zero. I'm the liver response. We're very mean in this room, just in case you know, especially to Republicans. Actually, we're not so mean to everybody. Yeah, I can't listen to him. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to talk over him for now. And he's doing the thing with his, which I do too sometimes, but not really that often. Yeah, sometimes Pepper. Depends on the day. It depends on the day.
We're robustly funding things like DIU, like SCO, like the Office of Strategic Capital.
Oh, sorry.
to
Yeah.
ensure that-
This is what I wanted to say. Yeah. So we can't think about how the window has moved, right? And I know you all know this, so forgive me for like sounding preachy, but, imagine this is where we are in this country, that we're not even the most shocking thing, eliminating DEI from the federal government, eliminating trans people from the military. The most shocking things we don't even address. They are not the showstoppers. That's how far the window has moved, folks. Hi, Carla. That's how far the window has moved. Is that now it's not even fruitful in these to talk about the abhorrent bigotry that has taken over the leadership in the U.S. military. You know? Like, come on. That's stunning. But whatever. Yeah, we do need a nursing home. This is the nursing home.
Texas economy. We support 266.
This is the nursing
mission
home.
partners. San Antonio also has the second largest cyber footprint in the nation, hosting the 16th Air Force cyber, and then of course the military facilities that are the best in the
Hey,
country.
TJ.
Along with that, going down to Laredo, the largest port in the country, ninth
told her in
largest in the world after 8 Chinese ports. Number 9 in the world is Laredo. And my question, Mr. Secretary, has to do with.
I see what you're saying now.
One of your plans, and ask you.
We'll just have a fake committee always running. That's a great idea. Hey, it's time for you to go to your committee meeting.
U.S. Army North and U.S. Army South. I'm not going to go with their missions or critical mission, but what concerns us in San Antonio, both the Democrats and Republican members of Congress and senators, we're concerned that, in setting up.
We don't even have to picture it, gal.
Good idea.
It comes before us at moment's notice.
A place like San Antonio, where we have the infrastructure.
San Antonio, that's where my mama's buried. That's right. That's her hometown. Go San Antonio.
And I say this because I think your testimony has about 11,900 troops that are down there working with the Homeland.
Really? Somebody get this written immediately. Launch a pilot on this, because yes, we will.
With the cartels in Mexico and other places, I would ask.
I'm gonna call
you to,
Netflix.
When you look at this Western Hemisphere command, that you don't move it 1,500 miles away from the border, especially in a place like San Antonio. I think we got a few Texans here that can talk about the rest of the state of Texas, and some wannabe Texans also that can talk about what the facilities
We're gonna
we have.
mark up the bill now.
As you consider this, to
Grab
keep
your
the,
marker.
Command, Western Hemisphere.
I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm old, okay? So I'm really not trying to make fun of anyone old, but we've got to laugh about this because somebody has fucking taken over our country. God fucking damn it.
It's
true. I appreciate that concern. It is something that has come up multiple times in conversations with Secretary Driscoll and General George in reviewing their Army modernization plan and consolidation, with the recognition that some of those changes, when we go through a posture review and as we're looking at commands, are going to include some tough choices. Some of that includes ranks and positioning, but you still are going to have, at some level, a south and north bifurcation. The question is where that is headquartered, and we are in an ongoing review on that. Of exactly where that will shake out. But I would encourage continue deliberation with Secretary Driscoll. They have been thoughtful about it and will continue to be.
And I
I have the perfect one, Teresa.
There's
That's what I thought I heard, Gal. He's shutting down important commands.
But just ask you as you look at that, if we're doing so much investment on the border,
Yeah.
we already got the infrastructure down there in San Antonio and all the support from the other military bases across the state of Texas and the partnership, I would ask you and the secretary.
There you go. There's your cutout.
Please, before you make a decision, go drink the water, go, feel what we have in San Antonio and the surrounding areas in Texas to consider that instead of just making a decision by the paper on that. And certainly ask you to consider.
Henry, do you
also
really
the,
think this guy has a
second
fucking brain
largest,
cell?
footprint that we have at cyber there in San Antonio, and working with the top cyber university, UTSA there. And of course, the military facilities that we have.
I need to record that little jingle then.
During the Afghanistan and Iraq
Yeah,
war,
warrior
that area was
ethos.
looked. So I just ask that before any decisions we
Dun, dun,
make,
dun,
consider
dun,
making a
dun,
trip to San
dun, dun,
Antonio,
dun,
and
dun, dun,
have your
dun,
folks
dun,
understand.
dun,
I know some of y'all been
dun, dun,
in
warrior
Texas before, and
ethos.
would ask you to
I'll
look
do
at
it.
that.
I'll record it.
with
Don't
that,
worry.
Mr. Secretary and all of y'all, thank you for your service.
Well,
There you go.
noted, sir.
There we
And
go,
thank you
Teresa. We
for,
got this.
Your contributions to securing the border.
Old
which has
ladies
been a huge
unite.
priority for
Hell
President
yeah.
Trump. We're going to get 100% operational control. It's because of support from folks like you. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Chairman Womack.
Thank you,
Blood and
Mr. Chairman.
Darka.
And my thanks to the to our witnesses here today. Secretary Hegseth, General Kane, thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of this committee
There
for
it
your
is.
service
Wait, what are you?
to our nation.
Oh,
Obviously,
God,
we
I'm not sure how
face
much
a
more I can
number
take of this one. We
challenges
might have
and
to go to
facing
another
threats
one.
across the globe in all domains, and we have to ensure that the joint force is
Steroids,
ready to
gin, and
fight
regret,
win
Carla.
our nation's wars. So let me begin
Steroids,
with
gin,
General
and
Kane.
regret.
What risks do the recent force structure changes or proposals in the Army and Marine Corps present to the joint force, given your global force integration responsibility? Can you speak to that for a minute?
Yes, sir. And I'll be mindful of
Smells
the,
like
the environment that we're in and speak broadly. And thank you for the
Pop-Tart
question.
icing.
We're having to make some difficult
Take out your
choices to
Pop-Tarts,
pivot
boys.
some
We're
of the
gonna have
combat
a party.
capability that we have now to the combat capability that we need in the future.
Surprise,
Both
surprise.
services, alongside
Surprise,
the Department of the Navy and the
surprise.
Department of the Army, are making those changes in order to provide us with the combat capability and capacity that we need at scale to create the dilemmas that we have to deliver for the joint force and our adversaries. So at this point, we're doing the right pivots, Congressman, to make sure that we have the right depth
Carla
that we
went
need.
right there.
Secretary Hegseth,
There you go.
both of you understand
Thank
the
you, gal.
unique value proposition that the National Guard provides the joint force, having served. And gosh, for a long time, it was just me and Hal Rogers up here as the Guard guys. So it's good to have some company. As we're looking to be efficient with federal dollars, I always kind of believe that the Guard and the reserve component structure in general brought what I called value to the force. That I realize it's probably not at the same level of proficiency that the active duty counterparts might have, but they bring value.
If
to
you
the
know, you know,
force.
Tom.
And
We
when need
yeah,
to
never
surge
mind.
responsibly and quickly, then the Guard and Reserve.
Sorry about the
are
Pop-Tart
certainly
reference. It's
at the ready
it's something
to
that
do
came
that.
up in the last couple days.
My question is pretty simple. Can you both commit to ensuring that the National Guard component is resourced and equipped properly to meet not only today's operational demands, but those in the future? And I ask this question,
Do you wait?
having had experience back in the
You
day when the National
promise
Guard
to
was
keep the
more or less,
National Guard
a
funded,
reserve force.
or are you going
and
to
it
pull
was only
all the
after
money
9/11
out from the
that
National
we
Guard?
began
Will you
to
tell
use
us?
the National Guard
What are you going
in
to
a
do?
truly operational
What are you going to
form.
do? What?
And I thought it did a lot of great things for the Guard. I thought it brought value to the force.
Sure.
And I worry sometimes that we may,
That we're going to defund it?
pivot back to the time when the National Guard is relegated to more of a reserve structure rather than
Wait, what?
able to surge with our forces in a moment's need and be able to deliver
Wait,
combat
what?
capability and and combat service support capability when
Yeah,
needed.
I know.
Can you speak to that, Secretary?
Sir, I think it's an excellent point. It does, the National Guard and Reserves bring great value, not to mention the civilian skills, the additive civilian skills that they bring.
But because, wait,
Completely
never mind.
recognize the shift that happened after 9/11. I was a part of that, as were many people in the Guard.
Is that when you got your
our
first
generation.
Nazi
I
tattoo?
think we're entering an even another phase,
That one?
especially under President Trump with his focus on the homeland, where the National Guard and Reserves become a critical component of how we secure that homeland and apply those civilian sets.
Why are they
across the
pointing
state.
rifles
So when you're
then
looking
at
say, the
innocent
Army, for
civilians?
example, what we
Why are
need
they
in the
well,
active Army
holding
vis-a-vis
rifles?
The National Guard will not
Why
be
are
a
they
reflection
holding
of what we
rifles then
need or
against
don't
their own
need.
civilians?
It'll be a right sizing of
Huh?
where that particular.
Why was I standing there in
application
front of a bunch of
best
National
used?
Guard with their fingers on
and
their
the National Guard
AR-15s?
is a huge component of how we see the future, sir.
General
Bitch.
King.
Sir,
Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, you
the
stupid
policy
fucking
makers
skank
tell us
bitch,
what
useless
size our force should
motherfucker.
be. What I will commit to you,
Fucking
and
hate
by the way,
these
thank
guys.
you both for your service in the Guard as a fellow Guardsman.
Oh my God, I
You're,
can't stand this. I
legendary in
can't stand
those-
this fucking
those
pomp and
hallways.
circumstance
What I
bullshit
will
when our
commit to you is
country
that I'll
is
make sure
falling
that
the fuck
voice of the
apart.
Guard is heard at the policy level pursuant to my job as a chairman.
I yield, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the gentleman. Mr. Case.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Secretary, at the Shangri-La Dialogue, in your speech of May 31st, you stated, and I quote,
What about
"Here
the
in
signal
Indo-Pacific,
chats? I
our
mean,
futures
come on
are
now.
bound together
What are we
with
doing here?
prosperity and
What are we even
security
doing
in the
here?
Pacific are linked to
Do you
those of our
fail
people."
up in this
He went on to talk
administration?
about
Is
the
that what you
benefits
do?
From the quote, peace and
You
stability
fail up?
that comes with a lasting and strong American presence here in the Indo-Pacific, end quote. Do you believe
Are these all Republicans?
that the only way to
No.
achieve our contribution
I don't even know who that guy is.
security and stability in the Indo-Pacific is through military strength alone?
Well, honey, that ship sailed. Have you heard of
Certainly
USAID?
not
No, of
through
course you
military
haven't, because
strength
it's
alone,
gone.
Although military strength is the business that we're in. So we're building partnerships across mill to mill, whether it's the Philippines, Japan, Australia, more actively than any other
I don't
part of
think
the world,
anyone is
because
our
the
friend
application
right
of
now.
American strength is not America alone. It's by, with, and through partners who share
Who?
mutual objectives. And so
Okay,
we are
so you-
very
How's that
invested in
going?
military-to-military
So
relationships.
you, as the Secretary of Defense, believe that we need to take a broader approach in the projection of national power, national influence than simply our military. Is that correct?
Well, sir, that's not my job. My job is the military application. So
Oh, my
others will
God.
determine the broader
What a
spectrum of
leader.
that, but it's always
Oh,
useful
Ed
to
Case
have
from
other
Hawaii. Thank you,
applications
Peter.
as well.
But how others actually do that does impact your job in running our military, right? I mean, your military.
No, he's not gonna say
operations,
yes,
your military
okay?
Presence, your mill-to-mill relationships that I agree are important.
He doesn't give a flying
all
fuck,
going to be
Ed.
impacted
They
by
just
our
fucking shit canned
non-military
USAID. They
of
don't
power,
give a
influence,
shit.
And assistance throughout the Indo-Pacific.
He's
Is that
handling the
I
hard
would just
power,
say that
not the
from my
soft
2 recent
power.
visits to that region, meeting with many of those ministers of defense multiple times, their focus is what capabilities can we share together, interoperability and capabilities that establish deterrence, because the most important message America can still send, and they can still send, is hard power capabilities. What can we
What?
project? Where can we project it? As the chairman said,
Oh my
what
God.
dilemmas
What
can we
fucking
create?
decade
That's
do you
the
live
business
in?
that we're in. And so we work
I
with
can't
those
even get him to
partners,
stay still for the
share
eyes.
common goals, and our militaries are working better together than they ever have. And I think that
What?
helps
appreciate your
support
focus
security.
on the military side. That's
Uh-huh.
obviously directly your job, but I'm asking you to think and comment more broadly
Think
on our big
more broadly
picture
because you're a fucking head
approach
of
to
the
world.
Defense
This
Department.
administration, for example, has proposed to reduce the State
What?
Department by $8.3 billion, the Economic Support Fund,
God,
the
Case, pull your
Development
fucking
Assistance and
microphone to your
Democracy
face.
Fund, and the Assistance for Eurasia. This administration has illegally sought to destroy the U.S. Agency for International Development, and in its budget request, reduce it significantly.
There's a
down
question.
to close
What is
to
the
zero.
definition of
This
ethos,
administration has,
Mr. Secretary
proposed
Drunk?
to reduce the international narcotics control and law enforcement effort by $1.2 billion. This administration has proposed to eliminate the Millennium Challenge.
That is
Corporation,
Mr.
or not
Case, and
eliminate
he,
it, but
Ed
reduce it
Case
by
from
$1
Hawaii,
billion,
he's a
a
Democrat.
significant reduction. One of our principal agencies that
You can
assist
tell
us
'cause he
with,
talks like a
meeting
human.
the needs of the Indo-Pacific in the infrastructure area, and what I think you would agree are key strategic countries such as Indonesia, such as Kiribati, such as the
I
Philippines.
think we're
such as
going
the
to,
Solomon
Neil.
Islands.
I think we're going
This
to.
administration has proposed to reduce international organization contributions by 83%.
I like that,
This
Oomph. I think that is a good
administration
approach.
Not following through on commitments that we made to the.
Yeah, why
freely
aren't we talking
associated
about
states,
illegal
all of which are
unconstitutional
strategically
orders like
critical
sending in the
to this
National
country
Guard
to
when you don't
expand
have the right to
veteran
do it?
services, in those three countries, Palau, the Federated States of
Oh, the
Micronesia,
guy behind
and the
him.
Marshall
Sorry.
Islands.
He looks like
This
Brian Mast. He's
administration
not
appears
Brian
to be
Mast.
slow walking the resurgence and expansion of the Peace Corps throughout the Indo-Pacific. Do you think that that will affect your job in the military space with your relationships with those countries?
No, Ed,
No,
he
sir,
doesn't.
I would add to that list the elimination of most USAID programs, which I don't hear anything about because a lot of them were wasteful and duplicitous, and I'm glad we got rid of them.
Well,
Fuck
And
you,
as far as
you
international
fucking dick
organizations,
sucker.
the 83%
Go
reduction,
jump off a
again, I hear
motherfucking
nothing about that
cliff.
because
Have
most
you
of those
talked to those
international
countries?
organizations are not serving U.S. interests.
Bullshit.
We shouldn't
Secretary,
be
have you
funding them
talked to
if they're
those
not
countries
serving
about
U.S.
the
interests.
impact?
So I don't hear from our allies problems about that.
Well, I
because
don't think you're talking to the
those
right
were not
people.
part of their calculus
Yeah,
of American
if you
power.
talk to any one of those countries, they'll tell you that they're deeply concerned with the reduction of non-defense dollars, and it will in fact influence our presence and our contribution to your stated goal of peace and stability
I
and
think they
security
respect
in
that
the
we're
Indo-Pacific.
reducing waste on programs that aren't actually affecting
Gentleman,
change
time's
on the ground.
expired. Mr. Diaz-Balart.
Okay, if you don't
Thank
know
you,
my
and to
standing
three
on
of you,
USAID,
thank you.
I don't know what
Thanks
to
for
tell
being
you,
here.
but the
Thanks for
bottom line
service.
is this. People are going to die
Secretary, I have
and
two
dying
questions.
now. People are dying
First
now.
one is, and you mentioned recruitment.
And that's it.
At the beginning. During the last 4 years, we got used to just hearing how the recruitment was not doing well, and it was just the new reality. And then all of a sudden, that reality has changed. If you can comment on why that reality is, I think a lot of us know, but if you could talk to us a little bit about this new reality, which you don't hear much about in the press, about how that has changed dramatically. Question number one. Question number two is,
What?
a number of years ago, Southcom was moved from Panama to South Florida. There's a lot of reasons for that move. It was to get it because it was in close proximity with others like GIATA South, Special Operations Command South and Homestead, Joint Task Force Guantanamo.
There you go, Teresa.
The Joint Task Force Bravo in Honduras. The U.S. Coast Guard 7th District, which is the busiest
Still gives hand jobs, though,
district in
gal.
the entire country. But also because in South Florida you have
No shame in
this
that game, but
multicultural,
that's not how I roll. So I don't know what their problem
and
is.
as you know, Southcom deals with multiple countries, 40 different languages. And so it was not just a cost savings potentially, but it was also made a lot of sense. I believe that continues to be the case. Nothing has changed. If anything, what's changed is that the Western Hemisphere has gotten a lot more dangerous. And obviously we have Iranian influence, Russian influence,
Thank
Chinese
you,
influence.
Peter.
I'm very grateful.
4
Mr.
members who have
Secretary,
served in the
I don't know how
military,
much you
all
had to do
Republicans,
that,
Carter,
of the president's,
Valadeo,
change in
Rutherford, and
attitude
Gonzalez.
on no longer appeasing enemies of the United States in the Southern Hemisphere, whether it's
Duplicitous.
Venezuela or Cuba. But again, there goes the importance of having
All the wrong
Southcom
questions, Badge.
where it is, and I just would like your thoughts if you've had an opportunity.
Yes,
to
it
look at
was,
that,
Tom.
Because
And
it was
people
moved
are
from Panama.
dying.
It just wasn't in South Florida for the heck of it. It was a decision made.
It's hilarious
It was
that
the
we
right
only think it
decision,
matters
proved
if
to
we
be the
hear
right
about
decision.
it.
So, 2 questions, if you can answer.
And
them,
if
I'd love to hear.
they hear about it, trust me.
Well, sir, thank you for the question about
I know,
recruiting.
babes.
What changed is a commander-in-chief that America's young people believe in. President Trump was elected in November, inaugurated in January, and at first I called it the Trump bump, but then it became clear that's not enough. This is a tsunami of support amongst young Americans who want to serve under a president who they know has their back, who will fund them properly, who will not use them unnecessarily, and will make sure
Sorry,
they are
he's
part
already
of
doing
deterrence
that.
for the country with
You
a focus,
motherfucking
first and
piece of
foremost,
shit.
on the homeland, then deterring strengths and making sure our allies step up and carry more of the burden. So you've got a historic surge in the Army, and Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, you name it. Americans are responding because the president says a new spirit. And he's right, and you can feel it in the ranks. You go out to formations, you talk to men and women on the border, they believe in what they're doing in securing that southern border. You talk to them across the world, they're enthused about this new administration and its leadership. So it's President Trump, sir.
I thought our forces
and
were
as far as
apolitical.
Southcom, it is President Trump's focus on our
Thought our forces were apolitical.
in many ways reinvigorated the mission of Southcom and the recognition of securing American interests, but also pushing back Chinese malign influence. Panama is a great example of that, but across.
Oh, really? How'd that
Central
work
and
out
South
for you?
America. So Southcom is right where it is. We're grateful for the great work that they do. I've had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with them. And
Fuck this guy.
And we work by with and through a lot of allies.
Mr. Secretary, I'm a little confused. Are you telling me that the folks that are now voting with their commitment to the country?
Shut the fuck up, sir. Shut your fucking bullshit crap mouth. Trying to be funny about something that's serious. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fucking hate these guys. God damn it. How did I do that? Oh, I did that.
That was in our ranks so that soldiers, men and women, can do their jobs on.
No, I didn't see that, Jim.
I think that's all that American people.
America is trust? What the fuck? How's that even English?
That clarity. And
how is that even a fucking grammatically correct
Mr. Secretary,
statement?
I would also add that I think having you there has made it very clear what the attitude is.
Here we go. That's right. There we
And I
go.
will
Gal
tell you, to
has
me-
it. Yeah, shut up, you big fat fucking. Why don't you just get down on your knees and suck his dick? Come on, let's do it. Open up that pie hole. Let him shove that little mushroom inside your mouth and let's go. Bitch. I don't think I can watch this one much more. Young extremists must be signing up. I think the numbers are up, but I don't think it's what he's saying. It's not a tsunami unless they want to be overwhelmed. Why are you shutting down summer programs on bases for children? Why are you closing the safe places on bases in the middle of nowhere for families to be? Why? Why are you doing that, Pete? And that's from an active military family. Okay? We have an active military family here telling us that you're shutting down summer programs for kids on bases. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, get the Patriot Front. That's probably who he's got, if you think about it.
MP Materials is ready to install their Sumerian processing equipment.
If you send
to
him
help the
crypto,
US
he'll
combat
double it and
China's
send it
export
back.
Controls. And I want to note that China produces the entire world's supply of this obscure rare earth metal that is used almost entirely in military applications because of its its use in heat resistance magnets. So my question is, in accordance with the administration's America First agenda, do you agree that subsidies should first support U.S. companies already investing, hiring, and paying taxes in the United States? And can I have your support in ensuring that the department critical mineral policies will align with this goal?
Ma'am, it's an excellent question. It's something we have been very focused on. In fact, my deputy secretary, it is his number one, is ensuring that sourcing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The tsunami is because no standards.
Sourced reliably in America first. Yeah, and if not, then amongst allies. I won't reveal or talk about more than that in a setting like this, because we have reserves and we have capabilities, but at the same time, we have to aggressively work. And MP Materials, Mountain Pass, is a great example of a place where we can partner with industry. But what does China do? You know this. China undercuts the market intentionally to try to corner the market, and we have to account for that in the things that we support.
So the answer is yes, I can have your support. Thank you. I also want to turn now to the collaborative combat aircraft. I represent Las Vegas, Nevada, so we're very excited that the department will base the CCA unit at Creech Air Force Base, which is the center of excellence in uncrewed aircraft systems. And I want to make sure that the department has the resources they need to make this program a success. Last year, the Air Force had to shift $383 million to the CCA program, plussing it up by 60%. Can you assure me that your budget request will fully fund the CCA program this year?
Ma'am, it does fully fund the CCA, and we believe in the collaborative combat aircraft, the loyal wingman concept, this idea that you project power more robustly through autonomous, semi-autonomous systems that that amplify our lethal effect. So yes.
Thank you. Great. Can you give me an update on the first flight and the production decision for increment 1, and are we on track for the flight? When will it be? And finally, when do you anticipate the production decision this fiscal year? What quantity of aircraft will we procure? How many vendors will you award? And what factors are you considering?
Bryn, feel free to chime in. You're talking about the CCA still,
Yes.
correct? My understanding is later this year.
Well, there's a May 23rd story from CBS News.
I don't know the exact date.
So there's your answer about
Bryn, you might know.
Yes, ma'am. We can get back
recruitment.
to the specific date. It should be this fiscal year. And for our budget request, it's $804 million for the collaborative combat aircraft.
Great. Thank you. How much time do I have left? I'll just, also, can you then outline what is planned for increment 2? What type of capabilities can we expect, and what timeline and critical milestones?
We'll get back to you on that one. ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Peter. I really go there, okay? I just go there.
Passes in San Diego County, California. So one of the only critical mineral mines only left in the United States. Hopefully that'll change soon.
I have to work it all out. I have to work out all my frustration. So I have to go deep. I have to go deep cuts.
Sergeant Major Troy Black.
Sorry to ruin your breakfast.
Thank you for all your years of service. You've been serving this country since Ronald Reagan was president in 1988. You leave behind a distinguished career in uniform, wearing that uniform, service to your country. You have served as the senior enlisted advisor to the Commandant of the Marine Corps and now to the chairman of the Joint.
I'm sorry. Yes, congratulations. Thank you for your
Secretary
service. Goodbye.
Hegseth and General Kane and Ms. McDonald, glad you're here. I'm personally grateful for your service to our country and for sharing your valuable time with us today. Raising you bring a non-traditional perspective to your tenure as chairman, having been a guardsman and an entrepreneur. Thank you for saying yes once again when called to serve, and also distinguished Flying Cross and 2 Bronze Stars. You didn't get that by sitting behind a desk. You were a fighter pilot's fighter pilot. You helped the plan to bring down Scuds in 2003. So thank you for your service. And Mr. Secretary, I want to salute you for your leadership and action-oriented approach at the Pentagon. You've created a sense of urgency that General Kane refers to in his testimony, and back to the issue of what we're not talking about today, and it's recruitment.
Shut up. We already know. We already debunked your bullshit narrative. I can't wait to see what the next numbers of recruitment are after all this nonsense with National Guard. I love this, though. Topically, does the budget you haven't proposed include the cost of replacement of those fighter jets that fell off the carrier? And why did your Secretary of the Navy never serve in the military? And why is he fat, not fit, as you put it? What's going on? Are you going to send him over to RFK Jr. to slim down a little bit, maybe by drinking some algae or something? Maybe? I don't know. Canadian Fruit Loops? I don't know. What are we talking here? Are you still sucking this other guy's dick, sir?
Dominance for decades.
Yep, you are.
I'm a fervent supporter of
Oh,
not
no, he's
only
not.
F-47, but whatever the FAX is.
Retention, yeah. I'm going to watch those numbers. I'm going to watch those numbers. They started going up in 2024, by the way.
Need the Navy's 6th
So
generation
whatever.
fighter, the FAXX. Relying only on the Air Force's 6th generation fighter does not solve
I don't
our air
believe that
superiority
fucking
challenge.
Pigsbreath is making a lot of people join the military. I'm sorry, you'd have to convince me of that.
Guided. It's a
Whatever, yeah, I know. Yeah, spirulina, I mean, I'm sure there's some good algae. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know the algae world.
So we can't do either of those with only the Air Force's plan by. So we either want to win or we don't, and I know we want to win. We have to do it with the FAXX. And a 3-year delay is a de facto cancellation.
Yeah, why do you need a makeup room in the Pentagon?
And don't take my word for it. They're conducting unrestricted warfare against us right now. And if you read the 36 guidelines from the 6th century, and they talk about how do you defeat an enemy, or Sun Tzu, you defeat them at home with fentanyl by taking out our military members before they can even join. 70,000 a year. They are being successful in how they're doing unrestricted warfare, and that's exactly what they're conducting. They're also showing us their sixth
Now we're going to have to look up
generation
fentanyl
aircraft right now, and
deaths.
there's at
God
least
damn
3
it.
that we know they're working on. We can't give the field to them and say fifth generation is okay for the Navy, but it's not for the Air Force. We must have both. So several well-informed, well-respected leaders shared with us the importance of having both the Air Force and the Navy sixth-generation fighters, Admiral Paparo, General Alvin, and Admiral Kilby acting CNO. I'm not going to put you all on the spot, but I just want to make it clear. If you'd like to address it, you may. I'm just putting it that it's that important to me. So what troubles me about the Pentagon
Did somebody say something about fifth generation warfare?
Remember Milton?
Did you say something about fifth generation warfare? Because I wrote a book about fifth generation warfare and real estate sales. Yeah, a combination license. Did you say something about fifth generation warfare?
They need
yeah, or did you? I know. Pick me.
Chairman Calvert. Chairman Calvert for his investment in the FAXX and the bill, and present to this subcommittee later today. So thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Okay, go Navy. Mr. Morelli, you're recognized.
Thank you, General, Chairman. I'm grateful for your service and grateful, Mr. Chairman, for the hearing today. I don't want to pile on, Mr. Secretary, and I'm brand new to this subcommittee, but I will say that in the same way we wouldn't go into battle without knowing the number of troops, our weaponry, the number of armaments, equipment, supplies. It's really almost impossible for this committee to do its job without details from the President, from the Department on a budget request. So I wonder whether or not we could get a commitment from all of you to come back before
They're supposed to listen. Can I tell you what's happening right now? This is the budget meeting, right, with the Appropriations Committee. In a few hours, they're going into the markup session, and they haven't seen all the budget documents. So they're supposed to ask him questions in advance of a markup of the bill that will then be voted on, by the way. And the Defense Department has not even provided the Congress with the details of what they're asking for. How do you mark something up? Is this like, are all the copies at Kinko's? I don't know. Like, what's going on? What the fuck is going on? This is ridiculous. This is fucking idiocracy. Where's my picture of the cabinet? Because we've got it here. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll continue.
The President's budget request has been delivered, so you can answer questions in detail about it.
Certainly, we'll make sure you get those details, Congressman.
Well, getting the details is important, but also being able to answer questions about those details and what they mean, I think would be helpful. So obviously, this is the chairman's decision, but I would ask you to consider coming back.
The hell is even happening right now? What the hell is even happening right now?
So we could get your sense of the various items in it. I want to go back to a topic I think Ms. Capter raised, which is Ukraine, and I really appreciate your comment that when you referred to partners on our side like Ukraine, so I'm glad we still consider them partners on our side. Last week, the Ukraine Defense Contact Group met in Brussels. I know we did not attend, you did not attend.
Oh, that's it. They need the money to develop the budget in order to...
remotely,
Okay, I get it.
That was a meeting which allies coordinated billions in aid to help Ukraine. We're talking about funding right now without a budget, without a plan to sustain U.S. support in what
Gosh,
is
makes
a
you wonder why that is,
conflict in
Peter.
Europe in a generation. So can you at least give us a sense, Mr. Secretary, of the presidential drawdown aid authorized through January 20th? Do you know how much has actually been delivered? Just the presidential authority that was given through January 20th when the new administration took over. Okay, and do you have a sense of the how much has actually been delivered?
Can you put your fucking microphone on? Do you know how to do that, Pete, or are you already drunk? Anybody going to tell him his microphone isn't on? Anybody? No? No one's going to tell him. No. This is your government, people. Here's your government at work.
And you can give
All
us-
these motherfucking
Thank you.
flesh bags sitting there. Can't tell him his fucking microphone isn't on.
To ask for funding for the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, and at what level?
It is a reduction in this budget. As you know, this administration takes a very different view of that conflict. We believe it a negotiated peaceful settlement.
Oh, do
is in the best
tell.
interest of
Oh, do
both parties
tell.
and our nation's interests, especially with all the competing interests around the globe.
What?
I don't think the word victory has been well defined or
What?
a path to it. And as a
Excuse me?
result, a path to peace that stops the killing and the carnage is something that President Trump is very invested in.
Well, look, I would certainly.
What?
I think.
This
I
is such
define
bullshit.
victory
Oh
as
my God, I hate
incursions,
this.
Illegal incursions by the Russian Federation.
Oh my
Ukraine as
God.
a sovereign nation would be a victory, but I'll leave that aside. I want to.
Why? Why leave it aside?
touch briefly
Why
on
not make a
the
stink?
time I have. The president's announced $175 billion Golden Dome. It's been talked about. I know
Oh,
that
good.
what has been talked about, we understand that reconciliation includes a $25 billion.
Oh, really? A former director,
we haven't
former
really
executive director of the San Jose, California Police Union. Oh, lovely.
$5 billion will be used for.
Good job, Joanne.
Excuse me. There are
Fucking
many
asshole.
specifics that are not fitting for this setting. We're happy to get you at the appropriate level.
That's such an easy thing to say. I can't tell you that.
Request.
Number one, I don't know the answer. Number two, I can't tell you that here.
Built out the entire
Okie dokie.
understanding of what the architecture would look like, ensuring it exists. It includes existing capabilities that can be fielded rapidly. As President Trump has made the case, we need this now, not conceptually in the future. You know, we had SDI under Ronald Reagan, which was a concept. We've fast forward to the ability to deliver these things, and the American people deserve that kind of protection. So multiple layers.
Sorry, I'm going to stop him for a minute because I've got some details on fentanyl, which, as you say, is mixed in with the opioids, but apparently is the preponderance of opioids that come in that cause deaths are fentanyl based or whatever, because it is mixed with a lot of other drugs and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is this. In 2024, the estimated number of deaths involving synthetic opioids was 48,422, a significant decrease from 76,000 in 2023. The rate of overdose, that's 21 and 22. So that, I'm trying to find more recent information, if there's any 2025. Oh, here, well, let me see if this has any information. Well, anyway, I don't know what the range is yet this year, and that's what would be interesting to find out. I'm finding a lot of little bit older information, like the 21-22 changes. So I'll look a little and see if we can get a little better handle on exactly what has been the ebb and flow of those. So sorry.
From multiple different types of threats.
Oh, whoops! I'm sorry. I just skipped ahead.
What are your ideas to
Didn't
fill this
realize I was doing.
strategic nuclear capability gap in the Pacific? Are there any ways Congress can better support the department's efforts to meet these increasingly tight deadlines? And I'll listen to your responses. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. If I would just take liberty, both the chairman and I have taken up almost all the oxygen from Bryn McDonald here. I would just take issue with the
No, you
characterization that
haven't.
we have not delivered a budget and we don't have details and we're not delivering on it. She and her team have done a fantastic
No, don't. Well, this isn't about Bryn, you motherfucker. Don't stand behind
what
her.
we feel very confidently is a robust, detailed delivery of the president's agenda
What?
for FY26. So,
Oh,
thank
fuck
for what
you.
you're doing and all the details and focus on that.
I know. They just say
And
that
the
most of them
nuclear
are
triad is a big
fentanyl.
part
I
of
don't
it.
know what the
Security and
percentage is.
physical aspect of that. Sentinel with the Nunn-McCurdy breach has to. We are taking a very hard look at that while fully funding it. Columbia class critical B-21, which for the most part has been.
We talk about the
a
use of
success story, but
unencrypted
needs to be
or
continually monitored as any major
offline
platform does,
communications
and
for
the
war
command,
plans.
as well in investing in that
Oh,
capability.
I see.
Considering the advantages we have on the submarine side. So we are
That makes sense.
fully funding, in fact, even more so in most cases, that capitalization and modernization, which we have to, considering what our adversaries are up to.
And turn myself down.
Sure, I just echo the Secretary's comments about non-strategic nuclear weapons, SLCM and the others. And I think it really, for me, centers around
maybe that's a
four
little bit
Cs
better.
that we got to do across the enterprise. Change the culture to get after it faster. That's the first one. We got to create competition across the continuum in the defense and national industrial base. We need to buy better contracts and get greater capacity. So no ads other than that, Congressman.
Thank you. So if I may, you all feel reasonably comfortable with the way that we're modernizing our triad?
Well, sir, I'm not comfortable with the way the Sentinel upgrade had been happening.
Understood.
With a recognition that it is behind and can't be. And so we're getting at dynamic ways to address that. Different alternatives. Our Deputy Secretary and his team very focused along with Bryn. What do we fund? Why do we fund it? How do we look at new ways to do it? Because the way we've approached it so far has gotten us nowhere fast.
Thank you. By the way, I welcome you all to visit Oak Ridge at any time.
No, you
Thank
don't
and
need,
I'll yield
nobody
back.
needs to travel anywhere, okay? Fucking
Ms.
don't
Aguilar.
spend money traveling places, you
Thank
bitch.
you, Chairman General Calvert.
That's right.
Thanks to the witnesses for being here.
That's okay, Private, go ahead.
The clock's still moving, Miss. Mr. Secretary, I want to express my severe concern with the deployment of the National Guard in Los Angeles without consultation of the state of California. There have been photographs that have shown these troops sleeping on the floor and have not been provided fuel, food, or water by DoD. How long will this deployment last, and why were we unprepared to provide them basic necessities such as food and water?
The commanders and troops on the field are very well prepared, sir. They responded
No, they're not,
incredibly
bitch.
rapidly to a deteriorating situation with equipment. And
There's nothing
capabilities.
deteriorating.
We have made sure from the
You
top
stupid
down,
cunt.
as a Secretary of Defense who's been in a unit holding riot shields outside the White House during the chaos of the summer of 2020. I know what it's like to be immediately deployed
Excuse
into
me?
a situation like that. There are moments where you make do as best you can temporarily, but we are ensuring they're housed, fed, water capabilities
not.
in real time from my office, because I care that much about the California Guard and the Marines and the men
Oh
and
my
women who are
God.
supporting
That
our
wasn't true
ICE
as of
agents on the
yesterday, so
ground.
you should check
It's
with your
true
office.
every day, and that's a disingenuous attack that
deployment last?
misrepresents how much we care about our troops
How
and
long
what
will
they're
the
doing to
deployment
defend ICE agents. I'm not going to take the fact that we don't care about the troops. Nobody cares more about the troops at the top
Thanks,
than this
Vic.
Secretary and the
Mr.
Chairman.
Secretary,
And
how
our
long will the deployment
Welcome.
last?
we stated very publicly that it's 60 days because we want to ensure that those rioters, looters, and thugs on the other side assaulting our police officers
Ooh,
know that
he
we're not
didn't
going
mention
anywhere.
the
We're here to
dinosaurs.
maintain the peace on
Phew.
behalf of law enforcement
Secretary,
officers in Los Angeles,
appreciate
which
you
Gavin
answering the
Newsom
question.
won't do.
What is the estimated
Fuck
cost of the
you.
deployment for the Guard?
We've
and the
got
Marines
plenty
to
of law
LA,
enforcement,
and
trust me.
Where's this funding coming from? Will it be coming from quality of life programs that affect our service members or our families? If you want to wait till I finish.
Before
my
I hand it to-
question,
before I-
such as updates.
Stop
housing and
interrupting,
barracks.
bitch.
Before I hand it to Bryn, the insinuation that we're pulling money from housing and barracks in order to fund this is disingenuous and incorrect.
I'm just asking.
Bryn can give you the numbers, absolutely.
So the current estimated cost is $134 million, which is largely just TDY costs, travel, housing, food, et cetera.
Where's it
Taken
coming
from where, bitch?
That's the cost, but where's it coming from?
Out of their O&M accounts.
With the most recent deployment of the
Wait,
Marines,
what does
Mr.
that even
Secretary,
mean?
what's the justification for
What the
using
fuck does that
military
mean?
for civilian law enforcement purposes in LA? Why are you sending war fighters to cities to interact with civilians?
Every American citizen deserves to live in a community that's safe. And ICE
I don't feel
agents
safe because
need
of
to be
it.
able to do their
Hi,
job.
Dean.
They're being attacked for doing their job, which is
they're
deporting
not.
illegal criminals. That should happen
Are you
in any
talking to
city,
me?
Minneapolis or Los Angeles. And if they're attacked, that's lawless, and President Trump
Nobody's
believes in law
attacking
and
them.
order. So he has every authority.
They have
and he
the
has
guns,
done,
bitch.
mobilizing
Trust me,
National
they are
Guard
the
or
ones with the
active duty
guns.
Troops under U.S. code to
Yeah,
protect
let's talk about-
federal
let's talk about the
agents
US
in
code.
their job, which is
Let's talk
exactly
about
what
US
we're doing.
Protect
and we're
federal
proud to
agents
do
from
it.
what?
We're proud to do it.
10 U.S.C. of the U.S. Code 12406
Motherfucker.
is a legal basis that the president used.
Thank you.
Cites 3 examples and circumstances for the Guard. Invasion by a foreign nation, rebellion or dangerous rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States, or the president is unable with regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. Which authority is triggered here to justify the use?
I don't know. You just read it yourself, and people can listen themselves, but it sounds like all 3 to me. If you've got millions of illegals
What?
and you don't
Oh,
know where they're
fuck
coming
you,
from,
bitch.
they're
I
waving
know,
flags
I
from
am
foreign
twice as
countries
loud.
and
I
assaulting
can't
police
really help
officers and
it.
law
The president
enforcement
is
officers.
unable to
The
That's a
volume is
problem.
max on the thing.
No, the governor of California is unable to execute the laws of the United States.
The president, you said
The
all three
governor
apply.
of the California has failed to protect his people, along with the mayor of Los Angeles, and so President Trump has said he will protect our agents, and our Guard and
All right,
Marines
I
are
get that.
proud to
also
do it.
says,
So,
Mr.
my
Secretary,
yelling
that
is
the
really
orders
an
for these
attack.
purposes shall be issued through governors of the states.
You and I both know that President Trump has all the authorities necessary, and
No, he
thankfully he's
doesn't.
willing to do it.
No, bitch.
On behalf of the
No, we
citizens of
don't.
Los Angeles, on behalf of our ICE agents, and behalf of our country.
What about us?
We've also pulled $1 billion.
What about us?
For the border.
Yeah, it was
as
true.
well.
I
So
heard
this
that.
just goes into the same, fund, 134. What did
Congressman,
you
what's the-
indicate, 134 million? I was asking Ms. McDonald.
Okay.
134 million
Sit
goes on
down,
top of the billion that's been
Pigsbreath.
pulled for the
So
border.
the funding that was pulled for this year was largely in FSRM, and in this budget, we're actually looking to plus that funding back up to backfill that for our for our
Shut the
troops and
fuck,
for their
Bryn.
families.
What is MSRN? Help us.
Thank the gentleman. Mr. Valadeo.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Secretary. Thank
Oh,
you, General.
Tom,
Thank
you're
you,
so
Ms. McDonald,
right.
for being here. I know a lot of things have been asked already, and since I'm the bottom of the totem pole on seniority here, all my questions get asked first, so I'll hit one that's a little closer to home for me. Secretary Hexeth, thank you for addressing the challenges military families have faced under the Global Households Good contract. I've heard directly from my constituents about these issues, so I appreciate your I've heard directly from my constituents, so I appreciate your directive to review the contract and raise rates during peak PCS season. Can you commit to continuing to work with us to monitor the impact and make further improvements as needed?
Sir, I appreciate the question. We heard as well the worsening PCS change of station process that military members are facing, that the new attempt to reform it had failed, and we got that word quickly. And when we did that, we didn't try to excuse it away or cover it up. We immediately confronted the process. We fired the person in charge, and we said, we're going to, in this peak season, plus up the amount we reimburse so that families are reimbursed properly. And we use both systems, the legacy system and the new system, to ensure their needs are actually met. At the end of that process, we will then do a thorough reform of how it actually happens. It hasn't worked for far too long. Everybody knows it. It's about time we take a look at the process. I mean, think about the things we can deliver in real time to people in far-flung places across the country and across the world. And you can't reliably move an E4 from California to New York and ensure that the goods get there within a week. That's a failure of the United States military, and we're going to fix it.
I appreciate that. Next question, Secretary Hexeth. With rising tensions involving Russia and China, what steps is the department taking to ensure our defense industrial base can meet surge of demands across multiple theaters? Are we seeing adequate investments in munition stockpiles, logistics, and supply chain resilience, in particular when it comes to critical inputs like rare earths and other essential minerals?
What is he looking at? What is this guy looking at?
I would just
Oh,
echo
wait,
exactly
hold
what
on.
you said. It's
Hold on,
because
hold
of
on,
the
I'm so
urgency
sorry.
of the
Hold
moment,
on.
the reality
I
of
fucked
the
up.
threats we face, the threats that are joining forces in sort of an anti-American,
up. Hold
anti-Western bloc, are developing capabilities that they're fielding and trying in other theaters to refine them. The munitions that we have, where we use them, how we procure them, and what we use them for, the supply chain that goes into the materials on those munitions. Unfortunately, we inherited a department that didn't pay enough attention to that seemed to think sourcing from adversaries was going to be okay in a time of contingency or crisis. We are changing that. Or content to make the same munitions we've had in the past because, well, they were made in somebody's district or they were made in somebody's state, and that's the way we always do it. We're not doing that anymore. We're making the tough calls based on the threats we face, matching it to the capabilities, and I'm happy to sit in front of every and any committee and explain why we're doing it. Because it's
double
about time.
speak your way through
it's
it?
about time
All
we
right.
challenge that. And that doesn't mean we don't want
Yeah,
input. We do
shutting
want
down
input.
that
We know
stuff.
why people are invested in certain programs and certain systems, but it's our job to make the tough calls. And President Trump has asked us to do that. I'm willing to
Listen,
make the tough
kids,
calls, whether it's on
you're
personnel,
not getting a summer
systems,
program, goddammit.
platforms,
Time to pull yourselves
modernization,
up by
and
your
partner with folks
bootstraps
like
and
General
be the
Kane and the Joint
warriors
Staff
that we
who've been
know
with
you
us
are.
in every step of the way.
I appreciate that. So I got a little more time. So Secretary
really?
as the department looks to stay ahead of near-peer threats.
Interesting,
Will the
Pat.
defense budget continue to invest in hypersonic weapons?
We
and defense
confronted the
systems,
process
including
with more
unmanned
process.
IMOC and next-gen aviation technologies?
Active
The
military
answer is yes.
speaking,
In
just
a way,
FYI, everything
unfortunately,
he
the
announced
previous
about
administration
PCS
did not.
moving
So if
services
you're
was already
looking at
happening before
long-range
him.
fires, autonomous
There you go.
systems, hypersonics are part of warfare of the long-range drones, a part of the warfare of the future.
Pete,
That means
here,
we're investing in
have
them
a drink.
to be better
Calm
than our
down.
adversaries. Not accept the fact that we have
Calm
matching
down.
capabilities,
Calm
but
down,
what more
Shirley.
can we
Just
do
have a
to
drink.
enhance
Get your
those
straw.
so we're ahead of the curve? Because when President Trump says we have
Break
the
the
best
seal.
platforms, the best systems, the best fighters, the best ships, the best vehicles,
The best is
he
best
means
is
it, and we mean
everything.
business on it, and we're going to deliver it.
Except for
I've got
drones.
30 seconds.
We're
So
not so
General
good on
Kane,
drones.
Congress had $1 extra to invest today most effectively to
Those
strengthen our
dang
deterrence posture
Ukrainians.
against China, Russia, and threats in the Middle East. Where should it go?
Somebody gave me that question.
Wow, I'm gonna take 19 of those, Congressman. Probably in munitions. I don't know how much we'd buy for $1, but I'd want to make sure that the joint force is properly armed
Are
at
you
scale
drunk?
at the tactical edge, and the youngsters that volunteer to serve have what they need.
Wait,
I appreciate that. Thank you, Chairman.
move
I yield
away
back.
from the box wine.
Thank the gentleman.
General.
Mr. Joyce.
There we go. Thank you, Chairman. Secretary, everybody, I appreciate we had to go out to other.
Yeah, why are
we
you
won't believe
gutting
this, but there are
military
hearings taking
installation
place.
libraries?
So I went over to bug Secretary Turner and now came
Books
back.
are for
So it's
pussies,
your turn.
gal. Come on.
Secretary Hegseth, your April
Not
30th
warriors.
memo on Army transportation and acquisition reform directs the Army to expand prepositioned stocks of equipment to the Indo-Pacific. I expect we would need to enhance our industrial base capacity to support this effort. Can you discuss the importance of increasing prepositioned stocks in the Indo-Pacific and how this affects the Army's resources for FY26?
It's a great question because it marries up two things that need to be linked and synced and often aren't, right? The capabilities that we have in the priority theater and where we preposition those capabilities. So my job exists on multiple axes of that. One is working with allies and partners to make sure we have places to preposition them, many of which we can't talk about here today. But in the event of a contingency, we can't be relying on a supply chain that reaches all the way back to the States or even to Hawaii or even to Guam. You need to recognize the prepositioning of stocks. But then you have to have those stocks, and they have to be the relevant ones for the systems that you're deploying, and you need a defense industrial base to deliver on that, which is why we've made historic investments in munitions, focusing on priority munitions that would be applied in our priority theater, with a recognition that every munition we spend somewhere else, and I say that as someone who, very proudly, we conducted a very successful freedom of navigation campaign against the Houthis
Make
to ensure
arm
that our
races
ships don't,
great
and by the
again.
way, 2 of our ships transited the BAM successfully, and the ceasefire held very recently. So doesn't mean you don't expend munitions. You judiciously expend them with an understanding that you have to safeguard others.
You might
for
want to
future
tell
fights
your
and
little
prepositioning,
DHS
and then
police
invest
then
in your
that, because they shoot
industrial
pretty
base. And I think that's why you
indiscriminately.
see a budget with a 13% increase. 13% increase in a defense budget is significant and allows us to both invest in the president's priorities and fast-track munitions that we're going to need.
For a guy chairing a committee that has to cut his by 57%, I can tell you getting a plus 13 is a lucky day. Chairman Kane, our forces
Maybe you
face
should
growing
say more
challenges
about that,
sustaining
Mr.
operations
Joyce.
across contested environments, particularly in the Indo-Pacific. China is investing in capabilities designed to disrupt supply lines, access to forward operating bases, and target critical logistic nodes. What steps are you taking to strengthen contested logistics capabilities, and what investments can Congress make to ensure that you have operational resilience?
Well, Congressman, thanks for the question. You know, history tells us that the professionals talk about logistics,
And you drop them
that's what
into
was
the
the big
ocean when you're done.
differentiator between us and our adversaries in World War II is really the logistics power. You know, our teammates within the Joint Force are looking carefully at this right
Jim
now
Dahlgren,
as
we
we
beat the
look at
Houthis.
the
Do the shipping
adversaries' threat
companies know
arrays
this?
that they have. and our ability to defeat them and move the combat capacity that we need to through those difficult places is a key part of that. I don't have a specific number for you, but what I'll commit is as we think through
Would you
what
sober up
contested
for the,
logistics
before the
looks
next
like, as
committee
we think
meeting,
through
General?
what forward supply points on the first and second island chain might look like, we'll stay close with the committee to make sure that we're communicating early, often, and always about what our needs are.
I certainly appreciate that, and I throw out that having a small Air Force Reserve airport in Youngstown, Ohio area.
Some great C-130Js up there,
Thank you.
Congressman. Yeah.
Appreciate
yeah.
the help on our fire department for the new inventory we got. But the old stuff we had there, you had maybe 8 planes. You were cannibalizing 3 to feed the 5 because we didn't have parts and storage and those type of things. And I think that's has
sounds
played
like
out in
poor
other
planning
areas
on
for
your
us as
part,
well.
sir.
And we need to not only make sure we have the
How about
manufacturing
that?
industrial base, but we also have the ability to have the parts and inventory on to keep all those things online.
That's right,
We have to
Carla.
remove
General
them.
King
Yes,
is
sir.
a
I
venture
know
capitalist and a serial
General
entrepreneur.
Alvin and the team at the Air Force is looking hard at that too, to make sure that we've got the right stuff on the shelf prior to that we
I
need,
didn't
not
see you
just in the
sneak in here.
C-130 community, but the other airframes within the Air Force and
Where's the
frankly the
budget?
Joint Force.
Thank you.
Parts are
Yes,
always going to be a
butterflies.
driver, and I'm really encouraged by the innovation that's happening to look at things like additive manufacturing, where we get a hold of the specs from companies like Lockheed and others and can just 3D print right on the spot of the requirement.
Those have to be in any procurement you do from now on. That you
Yes,
also
sir.
do.
I
Because they're
think so,
busy
sir. It's,
inventing
you
new
know, the
cereals?
force of the future will fix on the spot. So
What was your cereal, General
they'll need
King?
to be able to have the parts right there. And as we look at mission command and delegating authorities and responsibilities to our younger commanders and you know, complex command and control problems, part of that is going to be the ability to sustain our force out there at the edge.
Thank you very much, General.
Yes, sir.
I yield
Thank you.
back.
And thinking of logistics, it made me think at, what was it, General Marshall, who went out in the 30s and met with a young lieutenant colonel, and said it's the best logistics officer I've ever met. And that was General Eisenhower. 3 years later, he was a 4-star general. So,
Well, did he sleep his way to the top?
Mr. Anderholt, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and
Did
thanks
he have
everyone for being here
disposable
this
fighters
morning.
to
And
his
as we
budget?
wrap up the hearing today, let me say the Golden Dome Initiative represents, in my opinion, a substantial investment in our national security, and
Move
I
your
credit
hat,
this
mister.
administration in pursuing this bold project, and I share your ambition for it. So thank you for moving forward on that. I want to follow up with from my colleague from New York. The president has said that he has chosen an option that will
Sorry. I don't know
total
why you guys put up with
$175
me, okay?
billion.
I'm so sorry.
Can you confirm that number, and when do you hope to make this system of systems operational?
I'll confirm it, but our belief is that 175 is the totality, that this is the initial investment, but that a lot of the investment will eventually be in systems, some of which are already in production. We'll need to ramp up the production of them because the president has charged us with having this mission capable by the end of his term.
I wanted to bring
This
over.
is not something
I'm
that's
gonna go down and
futuristic.
spray
This is
paint
not
the
something
rest
that
of
will
the
happen
dyno.
in some distant
I've
future
got
based
my
on some
neon
technology
pink.
we don't yet have or
I've got
can't
some
feel.
neon green. I'm really
Our
excited.
approach to Golden Dome will be making sure we can procure existing layers that can talk to
Very
each other
excited.
with new layers on top, because this is a layered system, as was mentioned, to include drones as well in
Yeah, all
partnership
hat,
with
no
the
paddle.
services. So can you confirm
Reaches
that,
and
Brent?
hat. Anyone
Yes,
want a
sir,
Pop
nothing
Tart?
nothing to add. That's all accurate, and we're still planning towards what the final number is, but the $24.8 billion we're requesting this year is that down payment on the near-term capabilities that we're looking at as part of the architecture.
Okay, thank you. Let me switch over, and I'd like to get your thoughts
Bren, you
on
should
the
be ashamed of
AUKUS
yourself.
partnership, not merely as a cornerstone for our Indo-Pacific defense
are you
strategy,
being a
but
good
also
German,
as an
Bryn?
opportunity for
Are
our
you being a
defense
good German?
industrial base. In fact, we've heard
We don't
from
need
a
any more
lot
good
of
Germans here.
Australian and UK businesses who are ready, willing, and able to move production to the U.S. given the new regulatory framework under Pillar 2. Britain and Australia set the standard for defense cooperation, bringing real
really
capability and firepower to the fight.
Can you preview how this
My 12-year-old
administration
humor.
intends to fund Pillar 2 efforts to develop and field joint capabilities between all three partners?
It's a great question, sir. I've spent a great deal of time with both Minister of Defense Marles from Australia, as well as Secretary
Probably
of
by
Defense
noon, if not
Healy
before
from
then.
the UK, to
I'm
really
gonna
get
see how
our
fast I can
arms
get
around
outta
what
here.
would be mutually beneficial in this trilateral arrangement.
might
So
have
there's
to
the
let the
recognition with
spray
Australia
paint
in
dry
Pillar
a little
1
bit, but
that
hopefully
they're
it'll
investing
do
in
its
our
thing.
defense industrial base. We want to provide them capabilities. We want to make sure those capabilities are part of how they use them with submarines, but also how they integrate with us as allies. In Pillar 2, we don't want to rely just on the architecture of the previous administration. We're looking at sort of the opportunity for a signature program or programs we can work on together that benefit all three, that create processes or procurement opportunities of systems we need for future fights. And we've had, in fact, as recently as last week, I spoke with Secretary Healy about that, and we're looking for those 1 or 2 signature programs. We've got a menu of options. We're at the point where we'll get to right sizing it and determining.
Shooting hooties in
And
the
you feel at
dark.
this point that things are on track?
And then
you're
That's what we're
sending a
monitoring,
signal.
especially in Pillar 1, sir, to make sure that
So if
expectations
you
are
wanna
properly
kill
set, so that we're not
people-
we're not missing deadlines or
I'm losing my
expectations are
ability to
shifted in the wrong
lyric.
direction. So we're having honest conversations
Yes, I
with our
will be
allies, like we should,
streaming
with a
from the
recognition that by investing in each other in that defense industrial base, we can have a multiplying effect.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Back
Mr.
on
McCollum,
the
any closing statement?
street, back on the street.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
Peter,
thank you, Mr.
thank
Chair.
you. Oh
So,
my
to Mr.
gosh.
Aguilar's
Who we got?
question and
Who
Ms.
we
McDonald
got?
were helping to fill in the blanks.
Isabella,
The money's coming
don't
from
judge me.
FSRM,
Booze Mom.
and that's about
Booze
a
Mom, I think I love your
25%
name.
cut to that
David
budget
B.
to fill on what's
Interesting.
happening on the border and now what's
Harry
happening in Los Angeles. If you
Persiflage.
could get us the details of what's not
Yeah,
going
you know
to
what?
happen in that account because of
If
that,
you're
that
who
would
I
be
think
fabulous.
you are, you
We
can
might
really
wanna look
just
and
like
see
split
if
because
we
I don't deal
prioritize
with you
things
or
in-
your
in next year's
nonsensical
budget to make
friends.
sure that they're
so.
covered. Mr. Secretary,
isn't for you.
your
Yeah, the new dino suit.
the top line on the budget
Thank you,
before
Peter.
us
That was very kind
is
of you.
$830 billion. It is not $901 billion. It's just not. That's the number we have to work with. You can talk about an increase. You've got a lot of things baked in. Hopefully that goes in
GDP, all the way from
reconciliation, $6
Australia,
billion
he can steal that
for
shit.
revitalizing shipyards, 3.5 for F-47s, 25 for Golden Dome. But that's all in reconciliation. And we can't include that in any of our planning. And that's why we are so concerned
bunch of clowns
about
on this
getting
fucking website sometimes, you know what I'm
the
saying?
money
Christ.
outbreaks in front of this
They
committee.
really think they're
And
doing
I'll give you an
something.
example. The Navy, their J-books, where they break everything down. I know
Thank you,
you're really
Peter.
familiar with them. We had 30 of them in front of us when we were getting ready to do our appropriation last time. We have 0 in front of us this time. So, you know, Mr. Secretary, I know, I believe, honestly believe you want to provide the information, but time is of the essence because this committee wants to do its best work together, both Democrats and Republicans, to make sure the women who serve in our armed forces have the equipment that they need to do the missions that they're assigned to and come home safely because we honor their
I'm sorry,
their
you
service
got
and
rid of all the
commitment.
women
Get
in
us
the military.
information. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
You must have missed that. That was Tuesday.
I thank the gentlelady, and I just make, that's where we're going to agree that we need some more detailed information. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go upstairs here and do the subcommittee mark, but then we're later this week we're going to do the full committee mark on this.
Now you're just boring me. Now you're just boring me, sir. Wow, that was hard. I can't watch any. It's probably over now, so we're gonna let that one go to the history books. Jesus Christ on a cracker. This country's in trouble. Let me tell you, we are in trouble. We are in distress. It's good to support independent media. I totally agree, and I've watched Mercado Media before. He's pretty good, I think. I don't think he's part of like any of the weird people. He seems to do his thing pretty consistently. I appreciate that about him. So yeah, definitely would recommend. Let me get the wine off the screen. Everybody's gonna get thirsty, and then what? Then what are we gonna do? Yeah, so I am going to go out in the street. I got to, sorry, I can't look at Mike Flynn. Mike Flynn, you're full of sin. Mike Flynn. That's I'll leave him there. Andrew seems like a good, yeah, he does seem like a good person. Yeah, I don't know him very well, but I mean his coverage, and I appreciate his coverage of Ukraine and other things, and he seems to really have skin in the game. So yeah, I respect that. I respect that a lot. What I don't respect is charlatans, fakes, and selfish bitch babies who can't get out of their own way fast enough to think about other people. And if you live in Los Angeles, or if you just happen to be visiting Los Angeles and taking advantage of our services here in the city, if you're one of those visiting people, and you know who I'm talking about, maybe you should drag your fat ass downtown and stand alongside me and others as we try to stand up to a hostile takeover of our city and terrorizing our residents. Maybe you should do that. Maybe that's how you should spend your time instead of beefing on the internet with a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, can you tell I'm a little hype today? Well, I need that hype because I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sweat like a motherfucker. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it sounds like a good one. I'll be out there, but of course I'll be filming my outward, so you won't really get to see the dinosaur. So maybe I'll get caught on some other streams, but hopefully we'll see what's what. But it's nice to have bodies out there because bodies matter. We have a little bit. Here, let me read this from Gal. I think I had this. Oh, it's going to be a fun day. You know what? I think I will bring some water this time. It's hard to carry everything because this one I'm alone for because Bobo, my kid, is working, so she can't come with me and film me. And plus, I'm not really enthusiastic about having my daughter downtown with me. I don't know. There's just a thing I have being a mommy. But nonetheless, I just don't have enough hands. And I tried bringing a bag last time. It actually made things kind of worse. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's probably, yeah, I definitely have to take water. I don't even know what's the weather going to be like today. What's the weather going to be like today? I wonder if I got my little thunder buddy vest. I know, I need a backpack. That's probably what I should do, a small backpack. That's a good. Oh, I know. Hey, Peter, no worries. Thank you for your support. I totally appreciate it. A Camelback, yeah. But Max says those get really dirty, and I understand what she's saying. That kind of scares me. I have a little bit of not really germ. Actually, I don't have any germaphobe. Have you seen my feet after a protest? They're disgusting. Wait, what was I going to check? Oh, well, first, what I'm going to do, I want to get this up on the screen because Gal shared this, and I think we want to talk about this. Hey, butterflies, if you're watching, are they already gathered in downtown in numbers? Can you see if there's anybody actually? I haven't checked this morning. Where is what did I want to do? I don't know. My brain. Oh my God. My brain. Ooh. Don't use dish liquid. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What the fuck? Come on, girl. Get your act together. All right, here we go. Do 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 do. I need more music down there. That's what I need. You give music to the dinosaur, that just makes my day. Okay. Stop and read this story. A letter sent Sunday from Crispy Gnome. Can you imagine having sex with Corey Lewandowski? I can't. Hi, Val. How are you, darling? Hey, sis. That's my camping buddy. Val and I went camping a couple weeks ago. Whoop, whoop. A letter sent Sunday from Crispy Gnome to Pete Pigsbreath requested the Pentagon give, quote, direction to DoD forces to either detain lawbreakers under Title 18 until they can be arrested and processed by federal law enforcement. I did link this. I made this. Thank you, Gal. Let me tell you what I got really upset. I know, sorry, Peter. It's really a bad day, isn't it? Yeah, listen, this is scary. Because let me tell you what I observed when I watched the coverage from last night. The minute something gets any kind of size, and I've been in a lot of protests. You guys have been in protests. I've been in enough protests to know that what the numbers are that we are down there at downtown are not fucking huge. There might have been 400, 500 people when I was there. I left right before the horses moved in. And so there was more people by the time I was leaving than when I had gotten there. However, the way that LAPD motherfuckers and the sheriff's department and whoever else is doing this, I can't tell with all the uniforms. There are peaceful protesters that just because they're standing in the area, they are required to remain detained and then arrested. Okay? This is not right. People were milling around, standing around, ready to go home. The smarter thing in my world would have been to just let them go home. So they are arresting people immediately for being part of these gatherings. And that's bullshit. So yeah, I am really fucking pissed off about the mass detentions. Number one, they're completely amoral. Number two, who the fuck is spending tax dollars for all these buses and law enforcement? I have never seen so much law enforcement around a small group of people in my life. I am so angry about this. And I know it's going to get weird and ugly and this and that and the other thing. My Thunder Vest is coming today. I'm very excited. So that when I get hit by whatever is coming at me, at least part of me will be protected. Anyway. God damn it. Hard to carry your buffet tray with a Stanley in one hand, so I wear it like a crossbody. And the assorted tubes have also, yeah, I know. Ugh. Clean Camelback and water dispenser of any kind with baking soda and water. Oh, I didn't know that, Tom. Yeah, I don't have a buddy, but I have a lot of buddies down there. Does that count? See, the beautiful part about being the dinosaur is that people kind of are drawn to take care of the dinosaur, which is really, really sweet. Legal contact and ink on body, not yet. I don't think I have a marker somewhere. I have many virtual buddies. And so, yeah, I actually feel quite protected, if you will, when I'm down there. Even though I don't know anyone, I really do feel like I am very well taken care of. So, and I don't expect people to do it, but ooh, you can put the bladder in the freezer between uses. Oh, that actually sounds fantastic. An out-of-date ballistic vest will protect against rubber bullets and is useless to Ellie, so they get new ones all the time. Oh, maybe I should go to an Army supply, Army surplus. I just got a regular Thunder vest. It's not going to really stop anything. It's just going to put another. I know. I have my power bank charging. This is my problem. I did that. I should charge my other power bank. I'll probably do that before I go down to paint this suit. Yeah, I wonder how many have been arrested too, Butterflies, because last night on the news, no one could really say for certain how many people had actually been taken into custody. Can you fucking imagine? What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? This is not normal. This is wrong. I don't have I have a bikini on. Okay, yeah, I could put some cash in the bra. I usually don't bring anything like an ID or anything. Of course, you're like the protest mascot. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, who's not going to look out for the big blue fucking dinosaur? Hated Chud streamer got a bus being loaded. Yeah, I know. I saw it. Boy, I got to deal with my anger. I might have to take an extra pill before I go out. I wonder why Oreo Express didn't come down. He loves a good party. Is he scared? Okay, anyway, I want to read this story and then I'll probably release you from my claws. Um, one day before the Dump administration deployed U.S. Marines to confront protesters in Los Angeles, U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Krispy Noem asked Defense Secretary Pete Pigsbreath to direct the military to detain or arrest lawbreakers. By standing there? I don't get that. To direct the military to detain or arrest lawbreakers, a move one expert called a grave escalation. No shit. A letter sent Sunday from Noam to Hegseth, obtained by the Chronicle, requested that the Pentagon give direction to DoD forces to either detain, just as they would at any federal facility guarded by military, lawbreakers under Title 18 until they can be arrested and processed by federal law enforcement, or arrest them. The military is generally barred under federal laws from taking part in domestic law enforcement. Krispy Noem's request may be a step toward the administration sidestepping those laws. By invoking the Insurrection Act, two legal experts said in interviews. Krispy also asked Pigsbreath for drone surveillance support, as well as weapons and logistics assistance in Los Angeles. I just can't express to you. I hope everybody realized just what a boondoggle this is. Where they were to join more than 2,000 federalized California National Guard troops in quelling raucous immigration protests. Fuck. The Pentagon and Homeland Security did not immediately return requests for comment as California sued over the deployment of troops. Oh, good. Did we write a sternly worded letter too, Gavin? Yeah. Take them off the Christmas card list? Yeah, no? And as immigration protests spread to other cities, including San Francisco. Let's go. In the letter, Krispy referred to an emergent request for assistance, RFA, to aid in resolving the situation in Los Angeles, and used strong language to describe what she said was the threat posed by people protesting a series of raids by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. Quote, oh wait, I need this voice.
We need support to our law enforcement officers and agents across Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Customs and Border Protection, and Federal Protective Services. Krispy wrote, as they defend against invasive, violent, insurrectionist mobs that seek to protect invaders and military-aged males belonging to identified foreign terrorist organizations and who seek to prevent deportation of criminal aliens.
It's not clear what Krispy meant by her reference to terrorist organizations. In the past, Dump administration has used that term, terrorist organizations, to refer to gangs. Well, I don't think they've met all the gangs in Los Angeles yet. I'm just going to say, I have a feeling that that day is yet to come. Whoa, this is bad. Oh my God. Saturday could be really bad. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll be there Saturday. It's clear to me the executive order he signed about FTOs. What is FTOs? Oh, foreign terrorist organizations. Yeah, it's very clear to me. It's just about anybody he fucking says. That's probably what it is. This is a grave escalation, said William Banks, a Syracuse University law professor and leading expert on national security law and the domestic role of the military. It may presage. Did I say that right? It may presage The invocation of the Insurrection Act. I know. Well, okay, but that doesn't mean it is an insurrection. Okay, can we get some fucking, please, please, journalism, please, don't set up Los Angeles to fail. Please, please tell the truth. Please stop using hyperbolic language to describe what you know is young people doing their shit that they do in Los Angeles. And yeah, we should probably figure out how to help. You know, like what? Why don't we remove the fucking ICE, remove the National Guard, remove the Marines, and let Los Angeles get back to being Los Angeles? Yeah, we should watch Euromaidan and Georgian protests in Discord. That would be a great idea. Stephen Dicus, an expert in national security law and the Insurrection Act, called the request in the memo extraordinary given that local authorities appeared to be in control. Oh, yeah, they're in control. Don't worry about that. Of the protests. In the rare cases that such military force has been used in the past, the Vermont Law and Graduate School professor emeritus said local law enforcement had either lost control or was refusing to act. Viewed altogether, and more importantly in the current context, these requests can be seen as using the military, or at a minimum using the threat, to instill fear in the American people and discourage the kinds of protests that are going on in Los Angeles. Good fucking luck. I just say, good fucking luck. Hi, Meowing Star. How are you doing? Welcome. So, this could be viewed as a preparation for invoking the Insurrection Act, or it could be viewed as part of a larger effort to frighten people who would otherwise exercise their First Amendment guarantee of free speech and protest. The Insurrection Act of 1792 was last used during the 1992 riots following the Rodney King police beating and trial in Los Angeles, when California's then Governor Pete Wilson requested military aid from President George Bush. Blank said that the act should be used rarely and only in dire emergencies. Our society is founded on the idea that the laws are enforced by civilians, first of all, he said, and second, that problems going on in the states, other than the most grave situations, should be handled by the states. State Senator Scott Wiener of San Francisco called Crispy's request an ominous step. This isn't what happens in a democracy. This is what happens in a dictatorship, Wiener said. We have a time-honored tradition in the United States that the military does not enforce civilian law. That's pretty important. Military use of drones for domestic purposes carries a number of restrictions and is largely limited to training and disaster response. They mentioned that in the hearing this morning. Under Defense Department policy, the military can use drones within its borders in support of a request from federal or state officials, but only with approval from the Secretary. Oh, please. Federal agencies use military drones to monitor protests following George Floyd's murder and Black Lives Matter protest. Crispy asked Pigsbreath in her letter for, quote, logistical support and transportation of munitions from Fort Benning in Wyoming. The letter did not specify what weapons were needed, nor why they were requested from those two locations. This is really sad. I'm really glad my dad is dead. I'm really glad my dad didn't spend time in a German prison camp to see us come to this. Under the guise of a reality TV star, failed motherfucker, racist pig. God damn. State Senator Tom Umberg, a retired Army colonel and Judge Advocate General officer, said he found the letter's request alarming. It looks like preparation for a military assault, said Umberg, a Democrat from Santa Ana. This looks like a subterfuge to create some sort of rationale for some sort of invocation of the Insurrection Act. I wish we'd stop talking about it like this and just get into action. Yeah, that's right, Meowing Star. We're going to fight. We're going to fight so fucking hard. We're going to get up in the morning. We're going to fight again. This is not right. As a former federal prosecutor, Umberg said that he was also concerned that the letter did not explicitly say people should only be arrested or detained based on reasonable suspicion or probable cause. It would be false imprisonment to detain someone unless those conditions are met, which is a crime, he said. As a former federal prosecutor and former JAG officer, I find it to be outrageous that 2 cabinet secretaries, and that's being generous, are basically attempting to provoke a situation where both law enforcement as well as other individuals could be hurt. That's right. In fact, there was someone hurt yesterday. A cop was hurt when someone threw something into his or through his window or something like that. So people are already hurt. It's already happening. Crispy also asked for graduates of an advanced intermediate school level, like the Marine School of Advanced Warfighting, to aid in developing SOPs, standard operating procedures, and TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures, going forward for when DHS and DoD have to set up a joint operations center and work in conjunction with each other in these situations. Oh, that's a funny thing, too. According to the chief of police, LAPD, and even the sheriff or someone, I think it was saying it, no one has coordinated fuck all with them. They're doing what they normally do and trying to anticipate what the needs are. According to them, there's not been coordination. This is wrong. This is like fucking Nazi Germany in the making. Right now it's down in downtown, which is not where, like there's a lot of people who live there, don't get me wrong, but it's not the most residential part of Los Angeles. So it's relatively clean in terms of a location for a protest. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting a lot of neighborhoods involved and stuff like that. But it's not going to stay there. You saw Santa Ana yesterday, right? Paramount City. You haven't heard much on the west side yet, but I'm going to tell you, it's only a matter of time. Or maybe they're not going to touch the west side because they think all the white people live there. I don't really know what the deal is. I've got news for them. This city is diverse. The Bar Association rejected Brad Bondi's bid to be the next president. Oh, for fuck's sake. Over 90% of members. Who are the 10? My God. Todd Blanche. Oh, it's all of Trump's ex-lawyers. That's it. I get it. At the president's direction, Crispy wrote, DHS is seeking to put an end to the migrant invasion. Oh, you mean the people who are trying to go to work? Is that who you mean, Crispy? The people who spend their days doing manual labor or standing outside Home Depot deserve to be threatened by you and your fucking goons? Are you kidding me right now? You're taking people off the street. There was a whole thing about Santa Ana yesterday about whether or not there were ice trucks parked in the high school parking lot. This is really, really bad. Graffiti doesn't kill people. Stop protecting buildings. Yeah, there were rooftop snipers and stuff like that. Hey guys, we have a Chud in the chat. Chud in the chat. Hey baby, thanks for boosting my algo. Boost it some more, Bulby Socks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll clean up that graffiti. What do you? Are you having an aneurysm right now? Are you having problems speaking? You have a little problem there? Do you need some medical intervention there? What's the matter? What's the matter, baby? You tired of winning? Is that what it is? Hey, folks, there's one in every crowd, usually more. My milkshake brings all the chuds to the yard, and my life is better than theirs. Damn right, it's better than theirs. I'd teach you, but I'd have to charge. Yeah. Come down to LA. Come down to downtown Bulby Socks. Let's fucking get it on. Come on. Come confront this 61-year-old bitch in a fucking dino suit. Please. Please. I'll give you a rag. You can get on your motherfucking knees, and after you're done, you can go clean the graffiti yourself, bitch. Honey, the tar pits aren't anywhere near downtown, idiot. Why don't you just stay in your little, mom's basement? Oh, wait. Oh, I hear her. Oh, wait, Bulby Socks, I hear her. It's time for you to service your mom, so why don't you hop to it? Hop to it, baby. Go fuck your mom. I don't have time to peg her tonight. Yeah, don't get hit by a comet. Yeah, they're hilarious. Don't quit your day job. Oh, that's right. You probably don't have one. All right. Well, I got to go spray paint a dino suit. Oh, Bulby Socks must be Bullets or someone. I don't know. Who would have you blocked, Max? My God. Yeah, I have a lot of old friends, people. Sorry for the new folks coming in. Yep, we got a couple of chuds in the chat who they want Lolo real bad. Real bad. They're real bad. So bad they can taste it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, suck my dick, Bulby Socks. All right, I will see you guys later. I'm gonna go downtown. I should be back in time to start the movie. So it's Sly. Um, all right, Bulby, we're gonna get rid of you. Um, uh, I'm gonna go downtown, then I'm gonna come back. I should be back in time to start the movie, which is the documentary about Sly Stone, who just passed. Rest in beauty. So tonight on Discord, we'll be having the Sly Stone documentary in honor of his passing. And then, I'll be here tomorrow morning, bright and girly, with more fun in the California sun. So hopefully today goes well. I hope the Discord link. Yes, let me do that. Let me entertain you. Let me take out some trash first. Hold on, Peter. I'll get it for you. Let me make you smile. La 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 la. Bye. Come up with another shamed alt, bitch. All right. Let's get this link. Bye, Neil. I'll see you later, alligatory. Euromaidan, yes. Los Angeles Maidan. First, I'll do a few tricks. Some old and then some new tricks. I'm very versatile. So let me entertain you. And we'll have a real good time. Yes, sir. We'll have a real good time. All right, I have to figure out how to get this chat on. I'm so sorry. Hold, please. Mommy's fingers don't work. What the fuck? One banana, two banana, three banana, four. Na 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 na. I think this is to the voice channel, but let me see. You too, TJ. Have a great day. Yeah, I know. It was great. It was so great to see everyone. I'm really, really happy. Bulby Socks is a whimsical way of saying Kangles. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. I think I sent this okay, so that's the voice channel where we watch movies. I think. And then the regular one, a regular text copy of the Discord. I don't know. I think they both work, and it really doesn't matter which one you link. But there's always smart people in chat. Discord's I usually hate Discord. Yeah, I'm going to give them hell. I'm going to try. And no, Oomph won trivia last week. Remember when we didn't have it? Yeah. All right. So those are the Discord links. One's a chat and one's the voice. I apologize. I think you can use either one. I think I fucked that up. But anyway, I think you can use either one. So I hope I see you guys all tonight, and I hope I see you tomorrow morning, and I hope everybody stays safe. And let's resist this motherfuckers. Thanks for coming. Okay, I'll see you on the streets. Rawr, rawr, rawr. Bye. Thanks for coming, everyone. And hey, thanks, Peter, for the memberships. That was really sweet of you.